pressure.
Introducing LT Defense Tactical Gear, your ultimate solution for top-notch protection and performance in the field. Our armor bundles provide unmatched safety and comfort, while our battle belts and holsters ensure quick and easy access to your gear. Stay prepared for any situation with our high-quality medical supplies, designed to keep you ready for action at all times. Looking to enhance your skills? Our firearms training programs will take your proficiency to the next level. Trust LT Defense for all your tactical gear needs and gear up for success on the battlefield.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Think of all that time. Every wait in the winter. Think of all that times no one else saw. Every sprint in the summer. Every sacrifice. Early mornings on the levee. Late nights in the film room. Bus rides to playoff games. Every bump in the road. Every moment of ecstasy. Every moment of doubt. Years wondering. Is it all worth it? It's all led to this. Man, I got this. It's a 60-minute drive for a 60-minute game. After all the miles we've traveled, we're almost there. After all the hours we've worked, one more can make us legends. After all that time, this is our time.
I'm going to say if they play just the amount of games as the NBA, with the amount of hype that they have, if they just put some primetime games on after the NBA season, they would be a profitable company.
Looking to get it into Smith. What a pass! That's game! Cordell Smith with the game winner! Oh my goodness!
And that is why you have Aaron Fry pass the ball in. Your weakest link on the team, who is a complete liability,
is gone.
In the playoffs,
Out of there.
You lost nothing.
You know, people watch 90 plus minutes of a soccer game to watch Miami Dolphins Stadium get destroyed over one goal.
Yeah.
See, this is going to determine my running back position. The Bills. Ooh, I'll take Cook.
But we're going to get to our final play. This is absolutely the dunk of the Summer League. This was just filthy. Check this out.
And they're trying to force a contested perimeter shot and keep it out of the lane. Wanda's Williams!
Till the final whistle.
You are looking live at a special Monday night football frenzy, Military Broadcast Radio. Till the final whistle. Caveman, what are we doing, brother? Tell the people what is happening today.
Dyeing the hair, everybody.
We are dyeing the hair live, people.
The Saints lost.
Saints lost.
We played. You guys
Let's go, Bo Nix. We didn't do
Broncos.
anything.
Beat our practice squad. Good job. I mean,
Yeah, they kind of did.
did you guys see our zone defense?
It was
just
awful.
running levels concepts.
What defense?
I don't care if you think Bo Nix
what
sucks.
defense?
I don't care if
Yeah.
you think Bo Nix sucks. You give anyone an easy ass high-low read, they're gonna be able to make a throw.
It was pretty bad.
Guys were so open that he would miss a throw because they were just so open.
Yeah.
He didn't know who to throw it to.
Their
Yeah.
gap
Gosh,
integrity-
man, you're starting to sound like a scoring woman. You're
yeah. Yeah.
Bro,
It's
No, that's
bad.
just a fact.
the Saints' gap integrity on every run play was just
bad.
god awful.
Yeah.
Chase
I mean, you
Young,
would
where
have
you
guys
at, man?
like they would have it stacked up to where like they have like 7-8 guys in the box. You have a man for each gap, and then they're just guys.
Still.
They just decide to go like run and leave their assigned gap and just try to go do something
Yeah,
else. And you're
still.
like, what are we doing? Like,
So special in guest studio, we have
come around here.
Come on around.
Mercury's girlfriend. She's gonna
Grab
be
your
Our
chair.
number one
doing
fan.
doing the honors. Number one fan here at
Go,
Till the Final
give
Whistle on
everybody
MD
a
Radio.
wave.
Give everybody a wave. You're live. You're live right now, Sabrina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
this
we'll
is
get you.
awesome.
We'll get you a headset.
A
too, to
special.
get on the
Yeah.
show.
Yeah. Joel.
you're live in front of millions of people.
Yeah, we got about 120.
They just haven't logged in to watch it yet.
Yeah.
So
They're
we
coming,
got
don't worry.
some easy removable spray paint hair dye here for Caveman,
Yeah.
and we're gonna give this thing a good once over and make this thing Bronco orange, baby.
It
So
is
Sabrina,
good.
let's grab a can, let's shake it up, let's give
Yeah, it
him.
says shake well.
Yeah, shake well. We want to, because Caveman does have some pretty long hair and some good dreadlocks. We don't want to ruin it.
You might want to like put the mic over to the left or over to the right so the
Yeah,
spray
it
doesn't get on
spray,
the
yeah,
mic.
doesn't- So we're gonna take Caveman off the camera, maybe
I'll move
scoot
that.
back a little bit, Caveman, so it doesn't get on your computer.
Well, while she's doing this, Jimmy.
Yeah,
you know
buddy.
what else we had? Sunday
So-
Night Football, an absolute disaster again for the Jets on national
I didn't even
television.
watch that game.
Who is Aaron Rodgers going to
Gosh.
fire this week? Who's he gonna-
Daniel Hackett, fire him, please.
He's already been demoted. I mean, I don't know. What do we,
I'm not on
Yeah.
camera for that reason. Mercury just cracked me up. So first of all, first things first, boys. Before I go in on Aaron Rodgers, Mike Tomlin, the absolute. I'm gonna turn your thing off.
Go ahead
What-
and mute this one.
Are you ready? Yeah, you're red. Okay, you should be good.
all right.
So first things first. Anybody that's disrespecting Mike Tomlin's coaching ability, Caveman is just absolutely. Yeah, dude. Is it going, Sabrina?
Yeah, the first one was faulty, did not have top.
Oh no, what are we doing? Anybody that's disrespecting Mike Tomlin's coaching ability, though, Mercury, that ends today. The coaching job how he got his team prepared in just a week's time for playing the New York Jets with the coaching about the quarterback disarray. They didn't want to get rid of Justin Fields. Do they want to get rid of Justin Fields? Who's starting? Who's sitting? He's being forced to answer questions. He's had banged up guys, battling injuries over there. I don't know if we're going to need a lot of spray paint for Merc. I'm going to open up the door.
Yeah, we gotta ventilate this. Yeah, just to
Well, at least it smells pretty good. It doesn't smell like foot and ass like it does in here all the time. Yeah.
we're doing all right.
But to get back to Mike Tomlin,
Yeah, I mean, he's
top marks, top 5 coach
such
in
a
the
great
NFL.
coach.
Such a great coach. And then, to get him ready and make, Russell Wilson look actually pretty prepared and pretty ready for a decent Jets defense
I'm gonna be honest. That was the best the Steelers had looked like throwing the ball all season.
year. 100%, brother.
Definitely.
George Pickens is an actual threat now on the outside.
For
right?
real.
For real.
Like
Their running game, their two-headed monster with Warren and
Najee Harris.
Najee
That
Harris
was
there.
going. That
Pretty
was
good.
great. They just were gashing the Jets. We expected that. The Jets
I
looked
think
pretty
so.
bad against the run, but I mean, this was the most complete Pittsburgh Steelers win we've seen all season. I mean, they got down. They were down like 11 early, or they were down 9 early. Then a big defensive play, and that completely flipped the momentum of the game, and they were in total control the whole rest of that game.
And then that's going to bring us to Aaron freaking Rodgers.
Because it's garbage.
Buddy, you have your boy Devontae Adams. You have a top wide receiver in Garrett Wilson. You got Breece Hall, elite running back by all accounts, of course. He scores a touchdown. He looks like an absolute weapon. And the New York Jets and the New York A-Rods
lose by 22.
Just don't even show up in the second half. Aaron Rodgers throwing interceptions that I've never seen him throw.
I mean, are you talking about the Beanie Bishop? Because in his defense, I don't really think either of those were his fault. I mean, Bishop, the first one, he made a great play because if you watch that play back, Bishop, he's got his hips to the outside, right?
Yeah.
The run in Tampa 2. You got Garrett Wilson running the skinny post. That's a great route to beat that coverage. And right, the middle defender, his hips are flipped the wrong way. So you're like, oh, all right. I mean, he doesn't have the positioning. I can fire this in real quick right behind him. And then on the dime, the way he's able to flip his hips and get his hand out there to snag that away
Shout
from
out
Wilson.
Sabrina. She's a great hair tech over here right now for her. Till the final whistle hair tech, Sabrina. Number one fan, Sabrina. Yeah, great point, Mercury. No, you're not wrong on that. That was you. I love how you broke it down with the Tampa 2 and the skinny post. I saw the same thing, dude. But still, Aaron Rod. My thing is, dude, I've watched him for so long with my team, dude, that like the offense just isn't as seamless as I thought it would be in New York by this time, how long he's been there.
Yeah,
where these interceptions, maybe last year this happens or something, but like by week 8, you score 15 points. I don't know, man. Like, I've just never seen him play like a slow. His feet just stop moving. Once his feet plant, he's immobile. His arm strength just isn't there. That's a pick because of the lack of arm.
Yeah. Prime Aaron Rodgers probably
that's
gets
a
that ball
dime
there
over the
before.
top,
Yeah.
and he just walks in for a touchdown. You know what I mean? Now it's an intercept. So when I say like, I'm not saying it's like, not a good play by the defender. It's just the ball placement and how Aaron Rodgers used to play quarterback.
He doesn't know his limitations.
I've
now.
never seen him play like this before, buddy. Like, I really never have. And so, like, when I see like a simple 5-yard, he's missing 5-yard easy turn around and catch it. Garrett Wilson, 5-yard first down, 3rd and 5, and he's throwing the ball out of bounds and he's looking like Daniel Jones. I'm like, man, there's just not that it factor there with the guy anymore. And, that just sort of leads me to believe that the grass ain't greener outside of Green Bay, baby. It's just not. Sunday Night Football, a joke. Mike Tomlin, awesome. Steelers win, going away.
Yeah, I mean, are we surprised that he outcoached an interim head coach?
Right. You watch those two teams, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, who looked better? Just take away Aaron Rodgers' accolades, take away Russell Wilson in Seattle. Who looked better single-handedly?
Wilson, easily.
Not even close. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, man. Like, football's wild. Who knows what's going to happen from week to week.
The Jets almost lost a touchdown, too. If their coach Ulbrich didn't drop the challenge flag.
And then Aaron Rodgers had to the best throw of the night from Aaron Rodgers, really.
Was throwing it back
was the throw from, to get the flag off the fucking field. Sorry, oops, my bad.
Beep.
Beep.
Yeah. But that's all right.
Yeah, Stokely's gonna sue us over here until the final whistle.
We're sorry. We're sorry, Stokely.
Sorry,
we're
Stokely,
just fired
dude.
up,
Like,
man.
Aaron Rodgers does it to me. It's only Aaron Rodgers and the Bears rule. You'll hear Jimmy Covers dropping F-bomb. Oh, sorry, brother. Go for it.
I already cussed before you about the Saints.
Yeah.
Man, I'll wait till I get my hair dyed.
Yeah.
I'm coming back.
Once Caveman's hair is being done, we're going to get him back on the 1s and 2s, but we're just going to keep talking.
Are you even going to be able to see the orange? I mean, your hair's kind of black. Just saying.
I can see the orange. It looks pretty good.
We might just have to go out and get some more,
I'm telling you,
Really?
it would have been cheaper just to go over to
Is that
Berta
it,
and
Sabrina?
ask her for
Are we out, basically?
Yeah, we're pretty much out.
Yeah.
That's how we got it.
Well, let me get close up.
It looks pretty orange in person. Maybe over the camera, it's going to take away a little
you're
bit.
only dripping.
But shout out Caveman for living up to the bet. You see these idiots.
Man of my word.
He's a man of his word, dude.
not
I'm going to
putting
give
those
you a
back on
round.
yet.
You get the free shout out this segment. You get the free shout out.
Let's go. Shout out Caveman. Death, taxes, Saints lose in Saints fashion.
Did you guys bring
the
a hairdryer?
freaking practice squad out there. No, but I'll just let it sit. I'm not going to put
prepared
the
well.
headphones back on. I'm just going to sit in my trash bag for a little bit.
He's gonna
I'll
sit
keep
in
patting
his
on it.
trash
Once
bag
it
for
dries, I'll put these back on. I'm not going to dirty these up.
It
You've got
does-
the nice covers on there.
Yeah.
They're brand new.
Well, all right, perfect.
Yeah.
There we go.
So,
Caveman
we're-
living
Thank
up to
you,
the bat.
Sabrina. as well, for
Caveman,
coming
thank you,
in.
Sabrina, for doing
Appreciate it.
that. That was awesome. Just to quickly recap and bring us up to date. In London, Jacksonville kicked the crap out of the lifeless New England Patriots.
I thought the
32
Patriots
to
were going
16.
to win, man.
Thursday night, Denver obviously beat the New Orleans Saints, which
The
brings us
lifeless
to
New Orleans Saints.
the lifeless New
Hey,
Orleans Saints.
I'm going to
brother.
stand on it. I will die on my soapbox
I like it.
defending Spencer Rattler.
Hey,
Hey,
it's
guys,
okay.
who has
man.
the bathroom key?
I do not have it. I'm sorry.
I actually might.
Cincinnati,
Scott.
Cleveland. Cleveland lost the game and lost to Deshaun Watson. They're embattled quarterback, 21-14.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson confirmed, done for the season.
Done for
he
the
ruptured
season.
his Achilles.
Yep, confirmed news
H.
over the 1s and 2s today.
I left it in the bathroom.
Tennessee versus Buffalo. Buffalo 34, Tennessee 10. Mason Rudolph now the new starting
Crazy thing
quarterback.
about that game, the Bills started down 10-0.
Yeah,
Yeah.
34
And
unanswered.
rattled off. Yep.
Amari Cooper, first week touchdown.
He was one of my sits of the week, and it's because you know the guy coming to a new team, you're like, he's not going to know the playbook, he's not going to be as effective because he's just not going to know the routes to run, and he goes out and catches a touchdown. And here's the thing, I wasn't even wrong, Jimmy. All right, he didn't know what route to run when he caught the touchdown. You see Keon Coleman, he's
Yeah.
like drawing it
Jogging
in the,
in
air
the
for him.
dirt. Yeah.
So for like the Titans could see this because Allen's at the line,
yeah.
calling out.
And they're like, hey,
audibles and
you
stuff.
run the hook, brother. Yeah. Run to the Buick, turn 10 yards, and turn around the ball.
So
Be there, you know?
Tennessee,
backyard
like they
football
literally
routes,
told
man.
you guys
The play.
what route Cooper was running, and he still caught a touchdown.
He still caught it out. No, you weren't
What are
wrong.
we doing here?
No, you definitely weren't wrong.
That's
Um,
that's the bright spot of the Titans team too, man. The defense, like you
Yeah,
didn't even
wasn't
really
so bad
have.
on Sunday.
They could not get in the end zone after that 10 points. But like other than that, Mason Rudolph really like solid start over Will Levis.
Yeah.
Like got to be guaranteed for the
No,
rest.
it
of
was
the season.
Mason Rudolph started.
Mason
Yes.
Rudolph started.
Mason Rudolph started.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. You
Mason
got
Rudolph
that's
started.
guarantee. You got to have him over Will Levis for the rest of the year
I think so.
easily.
I think so. He
Yeah.
just
Just
brought
like
more.
that's also
They're
one of
playing the
those
Bills. They're
guys.
probably going to lose, but he just brings more to the quarterback position.
I don't want Levis to be benched though, because he's just getting such.
It
a
was
great
free money.
run of
Yeah,
photos,
dude.
Great
I
run
mean,
of
it's
memes.
elite content. It writes itself, you know.
Yeah, I
Very
mean,
So
great
move
run
on
of
to other
memes.
games real quick. Miami versus Indy, 16-10 Indianapolis. That was a dog with fleas
what a
game. That was awful.
snooze fest, bro.
Saquon Barkley makes his vaunted return back to MetLife.
Yeah,
He does score a touchdown. He kind of goes off, and the Philadelphia Eagles
187
run
scrimmage yards.
roughshod
Cooked 'em.
over the New York
Cooked
Giants.
'em.
And I think that might be the end of Joe Shane and Brian Daboll in New York.
Dude.
And
Saquon
the Eagles
get rid of
win
Daniel
28-3.
Jones.
Saquon should have had 3 touchdowns, but Jalen Hurts
Yeah,
is just so
Jalen Hurts
greedy
is, yeah.
on the 1 yard line.
He's got
a
his stat
solid
pad. He
week
has
for
more
me in
interceptions
fantasy.
and touchdowns. He's
Yeah.
gonna get cut next week.
Yep.
You know that video of the bulldog that's like on top of the watermelon, or no, it's a pit bull, and like it's got a watermelon and it doesn't want to like give it.
You won't
back
give
its
it up to the
owner.
owner.
It's like
He's
growling at
holding it and
them.
growling it.
And that's
Oh,
literally
yeah.
Jalen Hurts when Saquon gets him down to the 1 yard line. It's like, hey man, let me score this touchdown. Jalen's like, nope.
Seattle over Atlanta in our pick 'em pool. Whoever picks Seattle over Atlanta, good on you. I had
Right here,
Atlanta.
buddy.
G. This
Yeah.
guy.
Right
You don't want to
here.
pick against him. My hair's orange.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let me tell you.
That's why he's wearing a trash bag right now. If
you pick
anybody's,
against me, your hair's gonna change
we
colors.
got a
The
couple
only-
comments.
The only team
Kyle,
I can go in with is the
smile,
Bills.
smile a little bit, caveman. I like it, dude.
You know, it was
Looking
he had an
pretty
idea.
Orange, Sydney. There we go.
Battle Rhythm
He had
Podcast
an
saying, "Let's
idea.
go Dodgers."
They advanced last
Dodgers, yeah.
night. They
They
advanced
did.
last night. Kyle had an idea. He said to go half orange, half blue. And this was the night of the game. I left him on red because I was watching the game and I was like,
Yeah.
dude,
Yeah,
the practice squad. I can't
Yeah.
even watch this.
I know. It's
I
terrible.
saw we went 3 and out at the beginning of the second half. And then the first run play the Broncos ran after we punted it, we missed a tackle. And then Williams ran for 11 yards. And I was like, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Game's over.
I got up out of the living room and I was like, I can't watch this anymore. And I walked downstairs. And
It's
then I
bad.
came back upstairs to get a drink because I started playing Xbox. Came back upstairs the second after the strip sack from behind on Rattler that got taken back
for a
for a
touchdown.
touchdown.
Yeah.
God, dude.
Yeah,
I
it was
think-
bad, dude.
God, man.
I think after the first quarter, I felt pretty confident that I was going to win the bet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah.
stopped sweating it after
Yeah.
like the first 20
8 minutes.
I was
Literally like that. Yeah, like where he's 8 minutes into the first, I said, "Oh, Broncos won." I'm glad I was on the Broncos side.
Yeah.
I bet on the Broncos got a really cheap money line price.
They
So
do.
I got that. I bet that pregame, and I was like, "Oh, minus 110. Okay, I'll take it for probably the better team." Just because I saw Rashid, Shaheed, is that his name?
Yeah,
Shaheed,
Rashid
Shaheed.
He was out.
Once I
No
saw he was
Olave.
out, I was like, no Olave, no him. Who are they throwing the ball to?
We got
I kind of went with the
Mason
Broncos there.
Tipton, Cedric Wilson, and Bub Means
Oh man,
came in. The rookie.
That's a
the rookie
USFL
Bub.
roster right
Panther
there.
Bub Means
Dude,
out
just
here.
go.
The rookie
shout
Bub.
out Pitt Panthers. Good job, Mercury.
Bub didn't have that bad of a game, honestly. It's
Well,
just
somebody had to catch the freaking ball from Spencer Rattler, dude.
Foster Moreau was the leading receiver. And I think Bub Means actually caught the touchdown pass, or it might have been Cedric Wilson.
I think it was Bub.
But at the same time, it's like
It was Wilson.
we scored it. We
Garbage
scored in
time
crunch.
touchdown.
Yeah, garbage time. How
Look at
much?
Kyle.
Hey,
Love
hey,
it,
man!
Kyle. Love it, Kyle. Shout out Kyle doing pretty
This
good.
is
on
a
picks
Derek
this week,
Carr
too.
jersey. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's what
That's
it
what
is,
this
dude.
is.
I like it, dude.
No one else on the Saints but Derek Carr,
Yeah,
man.
buddy.
And Chase Young, dude. I've never seen somebody that cannot get to the quarterback, man.
Yeah. Moving
like-
on.
dude.
Detroit versus Minnesota NFC North Division matchup.
That was
Minnesota
a
had the
barn burner.
lead
Incredible
late.
game.
And then
Incredible.
Detroit comes back and wins 31-29. The fighting Dan Campbell's. Did you guys watch that game?
That
Here's
one
notes
was insane.
Any fantasy implications? I know.
Well,
I
if
didn't
you-
bet this game. I almost bet the over, but I didn't touch it.
Yeah, Jameer Gibbs, monster day out of him.
Yep.
A 40-yard touchdown. Let me pull up his the rest of his statistics here. But yeah, he just carried them on the ground. 15 carries, $116, 2 touchdowns, toting the rock after David Montgomery got hurt. Note
He
on
came back in. I
Huh?
think.
Yeah.
He did, yeah. A note
sucks.
on Jared Goff, who
Does
was
suck.
again
Accountability.
super accurate, 22 of 25, 282 touchdowns. Jared Goff faced the blitz 55% of the snaps because Brian Flores, he
He
loves to
just
bring the
sends the
pressure.
house, yeah.
Did you see
And-
those highlights?
Yeah,
he
Go-
was in there, not losing any focus. He had a touchdown pass where he literally
Goff
got
was
swiped down the shoulder.
13 of 16 for 168 yards and a touchdown
Dude was
against the
cooking.
blitz.
This is the thing about that Brian Flores defense, and I touched on it last week. Once that gets shown on film, there's only so much you can do with the limited players and their ability that you have.
Yeah, exactly.
By the end of the year last year, the Minnesota Vikings defense was just getting ran all over. I think the Lions kind of followed a little bit of the Green Bay Packers game plan and just played that way throughout the whole game rather than just one quarter like the Packers did, where by the end of the year, dude, when Jordan Love played the Minnesota Vikings at the end of the season, he had a perfect passer rating versus them.
Remember
You
the
know,
last time they started 5-0?
They played the Seahawks last year. The Vikings did when they played the Seahawks, and Geno Smith went off against the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah. It's
You know,
their defense is very similar to what the Broncos do, where they like to blitz a lot and play man defense. The problem is that they don't have the secondary. that
they don't
can
have
do it.
freaking Patrick.
They don't have
Surtain.
Pat
Yeah.
Surtain who can
Right.
just go
They
out there
can't
and
run man
eliminate.
coverage.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
like
When Harrison
obviously-
Smith is dropping in the box and covering a
yeah,
slot receiver, you have a problem.
That's an issue.
right. I mean, like
That's a big issue.
I don't even know who the Vikings #1 corner is.
Remember
Kirby Joseph?
the
No,
last
that's the
time
Lions.
they went 5-0?
is
They
Ivan
missed
Pace.
the
I think he's
playoffs.
he's a
Yeah.
safety.
What was that game in?
The last time they started 5-0, they missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
That was when they had Case Keenum.
Case Keenum.
started there
Yeah.
with red
Yeah.
hot first 5 weeks,
Yeah.
and they went on like a
Vik-
6-game
they
losing
always
streak.
do
and
this.
wa-
Vikings
were out of
always
the
do this.
playoffs.
You got like old Stephon Gilmore,
They do have Gilmore. That's right.
Brian Murphy Jr.,
Yeah,
Shaquille
Byron Murphy,
Griffin.
yeah, that's tough.
I don't know.
That
You
is.
just
Yeah.
against Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, can you leave one of those guys like one-on-one on single coverage?
You're right.
Can't
And,
trust
you
him.
can't have that at all. You know,
You just
And
have
I
to
don't
hope
think
you get
that
a
their
sack.
pass rush is. all that
I'll
there
answer
either.
it for you, Jimmy. You can't. He had 8 catches for 112 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah,
sack.
that's amazing.
You know,
That'll win you a ball game.
it will.
will.
Yeah.
It will.
So great
Another-
point there. Yeah, the Viking, the Brian Flores' defense. It's a really, if you got the right guys on it, it works really
And
well.
if you've
but-
never seen it before,
yeah, and
if you're catching it the first time, it's tough to diagnose who's dropping, who's going, because it's really only two things. You're either showing and you're going, or you're showing and you're
And
dropping.
You're gonna bail.
exactly.
There's really only a couple things. Once you learn the tendencies of a guy and what they're going to do on third down or second and long, if it's like second running play on first down, you stop them for 2 yards. So now it's 2nd and 12. That's a blitzing down. You kind of get a tendency down for that, Vikings team.
Exactly.
I'm just going to throw over the top of you.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, the Lions any better than any other team at it.
Yeah.
You have enough time in the pocket, you could just have.
And when you
games.
see him twice a week, twice a year,
Yeah.
it's like
you got plenty of film.
Yeah.
They play everybody else in the division twice too. So
Manny
you're watching
kinda-
them play a lot of them.
they had that game too.
They did.
They kind of
Well,
were. They were in control of that game. Aaron Jones scored a touchdown. They were in control early. in
This
that
game was so back and forth because they got in control early, and then they were down by double digits at 2 separate points. They
Right.
they went down by 11 at 2 different points
Right.
in the game, and then you get the strip, scoop and score, return
Yeah.
for a touchdown. On the very sure ball carrier David Montgomery.
Yeah.
I will say that was Metellus punching that ball out. That guy's very underrated. Really
Yeah.
like that guy. I would,
Really good.
but he's not good enough to carry a defense
No, right.
with that, but he does make a lot of plays. I love that. Love watching that guy.
He's a good piece for them.
They
Yeah.
had a drive
they had
early
it.
in that game too, where they got sacked out of field goal range.
Yep.
So
And they lost by a field goal.
They lost by a field goal.
Isn't that crazy?
Going to the another NFC North team.
I want to say actually
Yeah,
just
say-
before
yeah,
we
sorry.
move on, the Lions pass rush with no Aiden Hutchinson still getting 4 sacks. Really good sign if you're
It's true.
Detroit
Yeah.
against a pretty solid,
They're solid.
Vikings offensive line.
They're not bad.
I would say that
Yeah.
you put them in the top half, at least top 16 of offensive
Yeah.
lines. They're on the
I
better
would put him in
half
the
of
top.
them.
They're
Yeah, I'd
on
put
the-
him in the top
yeah.
somewhere in there.
Yeah.
6, 7, 5.
Yeah, so
I know the
be
Lions
able
were
to-
blitzing too. They
Yeah.
kind of gave a little bit of dose of Brian Flores' defense right back at him with his offense.
but that was just a
A good
really
way
good
to beat it,
sign,
honestly.
Yeah.
to see that you can still generate pressure and get after the quarterback without Aiden Hutchinson, because that was something that was
It's your top
going to
guy.
be
That
real
was a question.
concerning without
That's your
the
top
for the
Long
Lions
term, now you're
defense.
going to go 11 more weeks, and you've already had your bye week.
Yeah,
That's going to be
That's
tough at the end of the year. And the
That's
Lions' bottom part of their schedule, I mean, they're going to have 3 of their last 4 games are on the road against top teams.
Yep.
They got to go to San
Yeah.
Fran. They still, I don't know. It's going to be rough for them. My Green Bay Packers boys pretty much dominating the game on all sides of the ball, other than Jordan Love throwing a couple. One interception was on him. The other interception, there's a couple guys still dropping balls for me.
Yeah.
We pretty much held CJ Stroud in check. We
He was 10 of
we barely
5
stopped
fantasy
away.
points.
86 yards.
We-
CJ Stroud threw for 86 yards.
24-22 final. Evan Williams stopped a 2-point conversion late.
I love this Evan Williams guy.
Where
Ever
was
since
he?
he-
at Oregon?
Crazy.
Ever since he got
5th round
into
draft
the
pick.
lineup, dude, it
He's
was a
playing
couple
next-
weeks ago
playing next to
against,
Xavier McKinney yesterday. It was a couple weeks ago. We finally,
against the Rams. But ever
against the
since he's
Rams,
gotten in
yes,
there,
sir.
man, I mean, he's just all over the field.
yeah,
Mhm.
And he's made every time you see him making a play, it's like a big third down stop, stopping a 2-point conversion.
When we really had trouble stopping the run,
Yeah,
in that second half, Mixon was kind of getting free. Bad tackling, bad gap integrity for the Packers early.
definitely.
That's kind
yeah.
of my one complaint about this. Packers defense leads the league in turnovers right now. No turnovers yesterday. We actually lost the turnover battle by 3. We had a special teams turnover as well, where we set up their only offensive rushing touchdown inside the 10-yard line. Outside of that, they didn't really do anything.
Well, Mixon had 2. Are you talking about
The first
The
first
first
one
was
where,
a muffed punt.
muffed
by
punt.
Just
Packers,
Yeah,
okay.
and they
yeah. So he
recovered
set
it.
him up inside the 10-yard line. That was basically their only offense.
fair enough? Yeah,
They had
yeah.
they had no rhythm from Mixon. Like he wasn't able to keep the drive alive with any runs,
No.
or They weren't really trusting it.
Edrin Cooper took away him in the passing game.
Yeah.
The whole day. And the Packers pass rush getting home with like 4 sacks. So that helped us.
It's hard when you got to be able to have your quarterback turn his back on the defense and just hand it off. Yeah, you got to get the run game going. And I don't like that teams just abandon it sometimes.
Yeah.
You'll go down by like 10 points and they start getting into this throwing battle.
Yeah.
Like run the freaking ball like once or twice a drive and try to see if you can get something out of it. It's like they got an all-pro running back. They might as well. Yeah. They might as well give him the ball.
It was kind of tough going for Mixon. 25 carries, and he was only averaging about 4.6 a carry.
You get
it's not terrible,
you get
but,
the 25. But you get the ball 25 times. I mean, Josh Jacobs had the ball 12 carries, 76 yards, and a touchdown.
Right.
Granted, it was a receiving touchdown, but I mean, you get the ball 25 times.
That's
That's
first
lot,
receiving
dude.
touchdown.
All of the receptions he had
Josh
too.
Jacobs.
He also caught the ball 2 times. So it was like 27 touches, but only 100 or 130 or 124 scrimmage yards.
Dude, we
on
held
27 touches.
Houston held under 200 total yards in the game.
Wow.
They only had 55 rushing yards, and they had 142, or excuse me, they had 142 rushing yards and only 55 passing yards.
All those sacks take away from
55 passing yards from C.J. Stroud.
Well,
granted, no Nico Collins.
Those are the sack yards. Like he had 86 in the box score, but like in terms of team stats, the sack yards take out of the pass yards. So it's
that's kind of crazy, dude. That's kind of crazy.
But yeah, no, I mean like it was honestly like the Packers shut the Texans down, and then they had to win it on the last second field goal.
That last drive,
interesting.
They gave Packers way too much time. They still had a timeout going into the drive. It's like
plenty of time
so
for the timeout. Jordan Love throws 2 picks and then just comes back last drive, needs a score.
Yeah.
Just no big deal, Mart. Dude, we were at the 50 with like a minute and 15 seconds. I didn't like we got too cute with a couple play calls. Clock was running down, 50 seconds left. We had a first down. We got stopped short it was like a 55 seconds left. It was a 2nd and 1, and we just let 35 seconds run off the clock, and we're still at the 40. And I'm like, guys, like we just can't stop and just rely on a 50-yard field goal from a kicker that we just signed 3 days ago,
who's been like out of football for over a year.
About a year. Well, he was in the Jacksonville Jaguars training camp, you said, so at least he had a training camp where he had something, but still not kicking in a game for 8 weeks, bro. Now your first kick is going to be in Lambeau. Where at the end of those afternoon games in Lambeau, the sun is always like half the field in the shade. So he was kicking in the shade, but his goalpost was in the sun. Kind of an odd, weird kick. Those kicks are always weird in Lambeau in those early season games. And I'm like, dude, like we're just going to rely on this guy. We have a timeout. Why didn't we kill it on a pass play? Guy got tackled. Romeo Doubs caught that inbreaker. He got tackled, in the middle of the field, and we just let 35 seconds run off the clock. I'm like, man, why don't we just go and try and punch this thing in? We got another long pass play to, Dobbs to set up like a 40-yarder, but, we kicked the game winner to win it. But still, I didn't like our end of the game clock management there. I think we could have done a lot more with that time that we had.
It does feel like there was some luck involved in this win, which is, sometimes you do got to get lucky, but you don't want to be relying on luck all season.
No, right, yeah.
Unless you were the Colts in the early 2010s, then you were relying on luck all season.
Vegas and the Raiders, shit game, or excuse me, sorry, Stokely, 20-15 Rams.
Okay, can we talk about Antonio Pierce's clock management for a second here?
That's even worse.
So you're gonna go and you're down by
crush it, Mercury. Tell me,
it's a 1-possession game. You're on 4th and goal. You're gonna kick a field goal to cut the lead to still a 1-possession game. Nice. Like, what are we doing here?
Let's try to score some points.
You're gonna need a touchdown regardless. It's 4th and goal. I mean, who knows if you're going to get that close again? Your offense has been just terrible, not just this game, but like all season,
all year.
I mean, your defense is still kind of struggling against Tutu Atwell and DeMarcus Robinson.
Yeah, man.
Like, come on, like
I mean, it is
Go
it is
for the
Matthew
score.
Stafford. Like he's gonna make guys look good.
He
He's
does
gonna-
make guys look good. Stafford's awesome, dude.
but still, how you got?
Go for a score, Antonio Pierce. This is just like he makes these weird decisions where you're like, what is this clock management? What is this game management?
Is he in over his head, you think?
I really think so. Man, I think when he got the interim coaching job, their season was over. There weren't a lot of expectations for the team. I mean, they were waving the white flag on the season.
And then they won a few.
Yeah, they won a few games. The team seemed to really rally behind them, but like
Raiders Nation absolutely livid last year. I remember because they wanted a higher draft pick, but they wanted to, keep playing, keep winning games, and they're like, "What for?"
Exactly.
I mean, that clock management right
Before.
there, it kind of proves it's some type of tank job, something going on there.
Yeah.
They're trying to get that number 1 draft pick.
They need a
They need it
quarterback
because they want
bad.
Shador, and I mean, I don't know I don't think Shador will go number 1 overall or top 5. So I think if you're Vegas, if you get a top
I
10,
mean, he is up there. Though. Who would you put above
is.
Shador?
well, right now Cam Ward is going to be the first.
Yeah,
first quarterback
definitely
draft.
Cam
Probably
Ward.
Cam
Do you think
Ward,
Jalen Milroe goes ahead of Shador?
No, I think Shador would get drafted ahead of him. It's just all the pass rushers and all the offensive linemen in this draft. That's going to kind of knock down, like when Justin Fields went like 11, like Patrick Mahomes went 15. There was like 6 pass rushers that went ahead of them. I think this year there's like they were saying
there's probably going to be a
watching some
lot less
pre-draft
teams
stuff.
that are going to having a high pick and needing a quarterback.
That's
Yeah.
exactly it. So, I think the Raiders are going to be one of those teams. I wouldn't be shocked to see the LA Rams maybe draft a quarterback in the second round. Just somebody
Somebody just to kind of get in there and start learning behind Stafford. Because Stafford, he's still playing really well. I mean, without his top 2 guys, so he's still probably got 2-3 years.
But that's
left in
if
the
you want to
tank.
sit somebody 2-3 years. I mean, that's just the perfect time frame.
Yeah.
Good, really great guy to
develop
learn behind
somebody.
too.
He's still playing at a pretty high level.
Carolina
100%.
Panthers, you got to assume they're drafting quarterback.
Probably, yeah.
They're
mean,
starting over there.
What happens with Bryce Young? Is that what team is going to take him in? For
Well, I don't think anybody would trade. Do you think anybody would trade for Bryce Young? I don't think anybody would trade for.
I don't
Bryce
think
Young.
anyone would trade for him.
Losing to
but
the
I
Washington
think-
Commanders and
that's
without Jaden Daniels,
40-7.
Marcus Mariota setting passing records, winning 40-7.
just coming in and smacking them.
That
up.
leads it. So Caveman, do you think anybody's going to trade for Bryce Young?
I don't think anyone will trade for him. But
I could
does
see
it happen where he gets like a second chance? Like it won't be like Jared Goff where he gets traded away and then gets another shot.
Right.
It'll be
At
like,
least Jared Goff showed that he can.
I think
does he go to a team and be a backup for a few years and
I
then
think
get another chance?
Wendy's might send him like a biggie bag and
Let's
like
go.
a drink carrier of Frosties for him. That
He
could
might be delivering on DoorDash with old Cuzzy over there.
The guy,
Who's
Yeah.
that guy who's delivering?
Desmond
DoorDash?
Ritter.
Desmond Ritter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. The Riddler.
NFC
Diddler.
South quarterbacks
Yeah.
getting washed out and going to DoorDash.
Did you guys
Yeah,
watch
take
the
Derek Carr
Kansas
with
City
you.
San Francisco game?
I
Brock Purdy
begrudgingly.
dude,
Brock Purdy stinks.
the Chiefs are so boring to
I picked
watch.
the Niners in our pick 'em. I had first quarter. I knew. Oh,
Chiefs are
Chiefs
so
are gonna
boring
win.
to watch, man.
Yeah,
Chiefs are going to win. They're going to
as
run
soon
into
as
a
I s-
team that's going to just knock them out, dude, because like anybody with a competent quarterback. I think if the Bengals play the Chiefs right now,
they win.
oh, Bengals win.
If the Ravens play the
Same
Chiefs
with
right
the
now,
Ravens.
they
The
win.
Ravens are
Dude,
going
you
to
got
walk away.
The
The
NFL
Ravens
is
are going to smack
just
them.
handing out the easiest like schedule for the Chiefs. Like, oh, you get the Ravens before they get going. You got the Bengals while they were still getting it figured out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then who did they play after that? The Falcons.
Falcons.
And then you have
Before
to play
they even
Derek
really got
Carr.
it going on
Going.
offense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Derek Carr
Sometimes
and
it's
the
not who
Saints.
you play, it's when you play them. But in the playoffs, my friend, there's no dodging anybody.
Yeah.
Those teams are going to be rocking and rolling. Cincinnati Bengals,
But
possibly Buffalo Bills.
they'll somehow find some voodoo magic to make
Something,
themselves
dude.
win.
I mean, it's just, it's so
It's-
boring to watch the Kansas
They're
City Chiefs
not
play.
fun. They're not fun at all.
And
dude.
Patrick Mahomes is not this quarterback that people put in a conversation. He's good. He's good. Patrick Mahomes is awesome. But there's just times where I'm like, there's plenty of dudes that you could put in that team with those guys in the prime of their careers, and they're gonna have just as much success.
Yeah.
Everybody,
You know,
he's having like
Mahomes
check
put
down
up-
simulator.
He put up stats with Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce,
and also Mecole Hardman.
Yeah, I mean, like, all right, like those were, he was, I would say then he was probably one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But like right now, the guy has more interceptions than touchdowns. They just, for some reason, nobody can stop the run you watch a Chiefs game and you're like,
it's yards after catch.
You're like, oh, and also Andy Reid's just like somehow manages to get scheme guys to where they're just like wide open. Like I'm like, Mahomes is just like throwing passes to guys that are like
so easy,
15 yards down the field with like nobody even near
Patrick Mahomes, 16 of 27, 154, no touchdowns,
two
picks,
interceptions,
and they win the game very easily,
handily.
They covered the spread, no problem.
Him.
That's a defensive football team, just like last year.
Yeah,
it's just not fun. The Niners.
It's just not fun to watch. Though.
They would have won the game if they went to their identity last year, being a defensive football team. They are not playing with the same edge at all. You're not getting the same production from that defense. No. And without Christian McCaffrey there for your offense, you're hurting severely. They are miles worse without Christian McCaffrey.
Brock Purdy's never going to beat the allegations, too. I mean, like we've seen, like they're 3-4 this year. Deebo Samuel dealing with injury all season. He's missed a couple games. He was sick this one. So shout out to Deebo for putting up a 0 and multiple fantasy lineups for me. Thank you for that. No Christian McCaffrey all season. Brandon Ayuk's decided this, he went the Kadarius Toney, Kenny Golladay route after getting paid. Has just been absolutely terrible.
And is rumored to have an ACL tear. So Ayuk probably not back.
Oh, Ayuk,
probably not coming back at all.
Not like
they
missing
feared the worst.
Yeah, they aren't missing a lot at all.
Shanahan had his head down. He was kind of fearing the worst after he saw that.
So he got carted off and was like pointing at the leg.
What's the San Fran's record?
3-4.
3-4.
They've lost 2.
The Seattle Seahawks are leading that division right now.
They've lost 2 division games by 1 point, and after being shut out in the second half. To divisional
Can the Rams go on a
opponents.
run in the second half and take
if they get healthy? Like I said, it's not like Stafford has been playing bad. They've been competitive in like all their games. I mean,
Playing
besides
close.
that Cardinals game was weird where they just got like slapped. I mean, that just happens. Sometimes you have a bad.
I think
game.
they just lost Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, it was like they just lost Kupp and Nakua.
Yeah,
and Kupp is actually questionable.
They opened his practice window, so he's been practicing.
I mean, but the way they can run that ball with Kyron Williams, like because Kyron Williams is still having a really good season, despite leading the league in like negative runs, and that's just because I mean,
he's just so small. He gets the ball so much because there's nobody else there.
Yeah,
too.
Teams are obviously going to stack the box because
he's
that's
getting the ball
best
45 times a game.
They're just force feeding.
You better have 2 touchdowns and 70 yards. Dude.
Yeah.
He's got the most rushing touchdowns in the league. I mean, despite all those negative runs, 436 yards. That's the 12th most. Which, I mean, the Rams' offensive line also been really banged up. Hasn't played that well.
That's true.
And despite all of that, he's still having himself a really solid season. So just imagine, like, you can finally get Kupp and Nakua back out there. They can finally take some of these guys out of the box, just how much more deadly that running game is going to get. And when Stafford, has 2, top 12 wide receivers he can throw the football to.
Makes it a lot easier.
What that team can do. I mean, if they can just figure out how to hang into some close games with these bad teams, when they finally get healthy, they definitely can be a force and make a run to the postseason. I mean, they might be the reason the Niners don't make it. Because right now,
dude,
Seattle's looking really good.
And their schedule,
they lost one to the Rams too. That was one of their divisions.
The Niners did. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Where did that Seattle Seahawks game go? There it is. I wanted to bring up their.
They kind of crushed Atlanta, who's been pretty hot the past 2 weeks, especially offensively. Kirko,
they got
struggled.
They got Buffalo, LA, San Fran, Arizona, the Jets, Arizona, Green Bay, Minnesota, Chicago, LA.
Who's that? The Niners?
That's the Seahawks.
The Seahawks.
That's a tough little schedule.
It is, yeah. So I mean,
they could win some of those for sure, though.
The Seahawks have definitely given themselves a good cushion, but it's by no means out of the realm of possibility for the Rams if they can start winning some games here.
Yeah.
And they've been really close in a number of them. I mean, even when the Packers came there to LA, they were closer to they hung in there with the Packers, who were just a much better team all across the board and health wise and talent.
Yeah.
So
we got much more for you. We got some fantasy football. We got all the college football coming up. We got some top plays and much more NFL and college football for you on the way on our Monday Football Frenzy MB Radio till the final whistle. We'll be right back.
Listening to my heartbeat pound as daylight fades away. A haunting old familiar sound. The guns go silent and I pray. I'm reading all your letters. I can't get you off my mind. Smoke the day's last cigarette. Thankful I'm alive. Mine's not to wonder why. It's just to do or die. Mine's not to wonder why. It's just to do or die. Helmet for my pillow. I rest on broken glass. Only heaven knows how long can this all last. I lived another day, but trouble's all around. The guns have fallen silent tonight, but the silence is so loud. Mine's not to wonder why. It's just to do or die. Mine's not to wonder why. It's just to do or die. I look up at the stars. Through smoke I see the moon. And I wonder where you are at home tonight. If you can see it too. Another burning city lights the fires in the night. I lie to myself and say that I'm not afraid to die. This war is taking me so far from you. And if we meet again, I'll hold you close and never let you go. But until then, mine's not to wonder why. It's just to do or die. Mine's not to wonder why. It's just to do or die. Mine's not to wonder why. It's just to do or die.
Introducing LT Defense Tactical Gear, your ultimate solution for top-notch protection and performance in the field. Our armor bundles provide unmatched safety and comfort, while our battle belts and holsters ensure quick and easy access to your gear. Stay prepared for any situation with our high-quality medical supplies, designed to keep you ready for action at all times. Looking to enhance your skills? Our firearms training programs will take your proficiency to the next level. Trust LT Defense for all your tactical gear needs and gear up for success on the battlefield.
You are looking live at Military Broadcast Radio till the final whistle. Jimmy Covers. To my left is Orange Man, Caveman.
It's the old.
To my right is HG. If you're wondering, folks, why Caveman is wearing a trash bag, it is because
got some hair dye on.
He had to get his hair dyed. He lost the Thursday night football, Broncos versus Saints fan. Caveman being Saints fan, Mercury being the Broncos fan, the only resident Broncos fan. And Caveman spray painted his hair. So we applaud you for going through.
Gotta do it.
The bet. Because there's so many TikTok guys out there like, I'll shove a burrito up my bum, and then that never happens.
Never happens.
It's like, I want to watch that, dude.
The peep guy, though, that bar stool, that
the peep
tape
guy, he did it.
Ate the peeps.
You know, he
did.
might have, ulcers and, liver cancer, but
He
that's
did
here-
eat the peeps.
That is here
He
nor
ate
there.
all those peeps.
I
Didn't,
mean,
he didn't do all 320 in one sitting. He broke it up throughout the course of the week, but he got
Yeah.
it done. So respect
Still ate
him
them.
for that.
yeah,
That's a lot of peeps.
that's a lot of microplastics.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do.
I haven't
couldn't
eaten a peep in decades.
I couldn't even eat one peep. They're just
Peeps
like
are
pure
gross.
sugar.
Yeah.
I don't like
Disgusting
peeps.
I don't
stuff.
like peeps either.
I don't like them.
Do you guys like those circus peanuts? Those like orange.
Those are gross.
They're
too.
awful, dude. That's like
It
old
feels like
people
you're
candy
chewing on
for
styrofoam.
Joel. Yeah, it is.
That's like, is this even
Yeah.
food? Is this edible for me?
so.
Probably barely. Probably just barely classifies as edible
Just
technically.
the-
Other FDA regulations.
they just barely
Yeah.
made the cut.
Like,
Yeah.
like it's technically not inedible, so they're able to get away with it. That's probably where it's at.
But Saturday, boys. Saturdays are for the boys.
Oh yes,
And
Oh,
it
yeah.
was action packed. If you follow
I don't
Jimmy
even know
Covers
where to
until the
start.
final whistle on TikTok, I gave you guys out Georgia money line. The boys rode. The boys won outright, and it wasn't even really outside of the game was played in Texas, so I think Texas got some home cooking. If that game is
That
played
would
in
give them
Georgia,
the edge.
if that game is played in Georgia, Georgia wins by 50. Georgia wins by 50. I said it
Yeah.
in the show last week. I was like, I just don't know if Texas has seen the defensive fronts that Georgia's going to throw at them. All the combo coverages that Texas saw, and that kind of confused Arch Manning there in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
They did.
I don't think Texas was
They couldn't get
anywhere
anything
close
going.
to being prepared for anything that they saw.
Texas
defensively
went
from Georgia.
from benching Quinn Ewers, putting in Arch Manning, to benching Arch Manning, putting
putting
Quinn
back in.
Ewers back in.
Yeah, all in the
I
same
mean,
game.
Yeah, it was
It
it's
was
kind
rough,
of a
rough.
disaster. Yeah, their offensive line, which was touted as one of the best in the country, just could
Got
not
beat up.
figure
Swiss
out
cheese.
how to.
Yeah.
Swiss cheese O line.
So,
Yeah, really though, and I was gonna go to. Hold on, give me just one quick second here.
Another one I saw. I was talking about Purdue getting that primetime upset. They lost 35-0.
Goose
Oh
egg.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, that was
They did
bad,
not.
dude.
They came out
Goose
some pretty
egg.
clean
Ohio State killed
uniforms.
'em.
Oregon did as well.
Or Oregon,
But
yeah.
man, they got beat down at home.
If you're Oregon, you kind of have to feel bad about only scoring 35. I feel like you could have done more. But hey, good sign for their defense.
Yeah,
Pitching
Quinn
shutout.
Ewers, 25 of 43, 211, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, but pretty much stopping everything on the ground, only basically like 60 rushing yards for the Texas
Dang.
Longhorns, and they had nothing going overall. Georgia able to score early and able to score often and pretty much just milked that game the rest of the way. So Georgia easily covered the 5-point spread. How they were getting 5 points against Texas, I have no idea. That's the way that it broke down. Georgia now are they number 1 or number 2? We'll check the standings here in a minute.
I got you. I'll pull
see.
those up here.
They are sitting at 2.
Sitting at 2. So
Texas dropping to the 5.
and Georgia coming up their next part of their schedule after. They still got a game with Florida. They got a game with Ole Miss. They got a game with Tennessee at home. That game is
that-
going to be November 16th. Must
Okay,
watch
that's a must
prime
watch.
time game right
Check
there.
that one out.
They play with Mass, and then they end the game with Georgia Tech, who's a sneaky team, but Georgia should win pretty handily in that game. The spread's already 21 points.
Oh, that was Georgia's schedule you're looking
Yeah,
at?
that was Georgia's
Okay.
schedule, brother.
Well,
yeah.
How about
It's a-
BYU, gentlemen?
BYU.
They had the last second touchdown to win it. That
Oh, that was
Oklahoma
just a
State
nuts
BYU
play.
game
Wild
was back and forth, a battle.
Yeah, Oklahoma State.
They're up to the 11. Oh my God. BYU, man. There's just no passing in Oklahoma State. They're good. They
No.
went through
Yeah,
three
that's-
quarterbacks against BYU.
Yeah.
That's just crazy.
And
it's
then
really Ollie Gordon has
Ollie
to
Gordon
succeed for
is-
them, or it's not gonna work.
They did cover the point spread, and we did bet Oklahoma State to cover the point spread, so that came through for your
There
boy.
we go.
We had a great week sports betting. Jimmy covers TikTok, all the socials.
you
Which
go.
team? What game were you checking out, Mercury?
What did
Well,
you have
I actually I just wanted to go back to that Tennessee Georgia game that's coming up because are they in the same like subdivision of the SEC?
I think so.
At least okay, so they wouldn't be able to play each other for the SEC championship. But
No.
I mean, you gotta assume the winner of that is going to represent that part of the SEC and the championship right there.
I'm gonna get to it right now for you.
Check it
And
out.
I mean, they're probably going to be playing. I mean, Texas still does probably have the best path to there, but don't they play Bama? They play Bama
Texas
later, don't they?
A&M, undefeated in conference.
No kidding,
They're
really.
gonna be up there. LSU is also undefeated in conference. Texas A&M, 6-1,
are.
sneaky. Who's their one loss to?
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Dame.
Looking pretty good for Notre Dame's resume. You think, boys?
Yeah,
LSU
I mean,
and then Georgia, Tennessee rounded out. Alabama falling to 5-2, both their losses in conference. That's going to basically put the death knell in there for them to win the conference.
yeah, I don't
or
think
go
they
to
get
the
to go to
conference
the
championship.
To the championship,
Yeah, unless
So-
like carnage and chaos happen and
which I mean, it could, but
Tennessee beats Georgia, then Tennessee loses to, another upset. I don't know. Like,
Yeah, if there's multiple 2-team losses,
Yeah.
it shakes it up.
it shakes it
But you
up.
got to be undefeated in conference or lose one game in your overall record to make a conference championship now.
I do.
Okay.
It is really tough to make these.
I want to
final
look at the
ones.
A&M and LSU's rest of their schedules because
I
I
got
mean,
it right here for you.
the SEC championship's wide open right now. I mean,
It is.
A&M.
A&M plays LSU next, so that'll knock them out.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And that's
And
the
they
top
play-
two.
And A&M got a sneaky matchup with South Carolina in South Carolina. That's a weird and tough place to play. Those
It is.
Gamecocks, they're going to come out fired and ready, prepared for that game. That's a night game, November 2nd in South Carolina. Then they play New Mexico State, so that's a cupcake. They go to the Plains in Auburn, take on Auburn November 23rd. Then they end the year. They go to Austin and play the Texas Longhorns. And that's probably going to be
Oh.
college game day
Oh yeah.
up the alley for Pat McAfee show, basically, because Texas,
A&M
Texas
going
A&M,
into Texas.
that
man.
game is battle at Texas. That is going to
Ooh.
be a slobber knocker, boys.
That
So
one, keep your eyes
LSU,
out.
here's their schedule. Obviously, they got A&M. Then here's another. This is probably college game day, November 9th.
Alabama.
Alabama in Death Valley,
Oh man,
mind you. Then they got Florida, Vanderbilt, who
Sneaky.
sneaky. They're-
Sneaky Van.
They
they're
play
right
ball.
now.
They play
Sneaky
ball over there in
Vandy.
Nashville now, boy.
Yeah, they do.
They play some football.
And then Oklahoma, which that should be an
That
easy
should be
win
a
for them.
cakewalk,
So
yeah.
yeah. I mean, does
All of this
LSU
is
have
going to
a
shake its way out, man.
does LSU have a chance to
Outside,
make the SEC championship
They have
if
to
they can
dodge
handle
an
Bama
upset.
They got to handle Bama.
and then dodge the Vanderbilt?
Then they got
upset?
to dodge an upset. I think.
It's tough.
You know,
So, I
I
mean-
think they might play for if they play for the SEC championship game. I think they're going to be playing Georgia, and that's going to be Georgia
Yeah.
Bulldogs running roughshod over Brian Kelly.
So I mean, who do we
and
think?
That'll be
LSU,
bad. That'll be bad.
no problem.
Who do we
That'll be
think it
bad.
is? It's going to be in the SEC championship. I mean, I think Georgia. We can pretty safely
I got
assume as a
Georgia.
lock.
I think Georgia.
And then I mean,
Maybe Tennessee. It's just gonna. I mean, if Tennessee
but they're in the
wins
same.
I know, but if
subdivision.
Tennessee wins that game,
Then they could jump them.
you know, I mean, and Tennessee is
Yeah,
no
they'll get
joke,
the
brother. And
tiebreaker.
the game's
that-
in in Volunteer Stadium.
It's at Rocky Top.
It's at
not in
Rocky
Athens?
Top, brother.
Ooh.
I mean, so I don't know, dude.
Dude, Tennessee's getting some like huge
They got
games
They
at
got both.
home.
Well, they've been bad for the last 5 years, and they've been, and it is on a rotation there in the SEC. So
Yeah.
they got, like next year. I don't even want to know what their schedule is going to be like next year. Fade Tennessee next season, sports betting, because they're going to be going on the road to Austin, to Bama, to Georgia.
Yeah.
How good is LSU to, next season? Probably going to be pretty good.
It's like the
Nussmeier
more you
probably
win,
coming back.
the more you win, the more you got to travel.
travel.
And the more you lose, the more you're going to play in
at
your home stadium.
That's 100%
in
what
college.
happens. Yeah.
So like, they have a really good cutout schedule this year to go after something and try to compete. Honestly, I'm going Tennessee. I think they take that one against Georgia. If they lost to Arkansas, that's their one loss at home.
Yeah.
I
That was an upset. That was a crazy game.
I don't think they lose another one because Rocky Top's huge. That place is impossible to play at.
Yeah.
It's like,
tough.
isn't that one have like 100,000? That's one of the
It
biggest
is. It's one of the
stadiums.
biggest
The way they
stadiums in the
color
SEC.
coordinate like the stands too, so it's
Yeah.
like the sections of orange and the sections of white.
Yeah.
And the
I don't know if
spotlights.
they still do this, Mercury, but I've been to a couple games in Knoxville. My brother went to Auburn, so every time I've been there, they were playing Auburn. One time when I was in the Navy, one time when I was out of the Navy. And when I bought tickets, about 2 hours after I bought the tickets online through StubHub, which at that time was like a college football, big time ticket purchaser back then. And when StubHub was like the
huge.
only one that was like selling,
They were huge.
tickets. Now it's like everybody and their mom sells tickets, but somebody from the box office called me and they were like, "Hey, are you on Auburn's side or Tennessee side?" I'm like, "Oh, I'll be there for Auburn," because I bought my tickets. They're even on StubHub. They asked you, "Are you here for Auburn or are you here for Tennessee?" And I was like, "I'm here for Auburn." So I bought tickets for Auburn sideline. And then the lady called me from the box office and she was like, "Hey, do you want to be orange or do you want to be white?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And she was like, "Well, we color coordinate our entire stadium." And I was like, "You color coordinate your entire stadium?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Yeah, for the night games, if it's a big game, we color coordinate the entire stadium." And I was like, "Well, I want to wear orange." So they literally just moved my seat one row back behind where I was at. And it was basically the same seat, just one row back. And I was in orange and the people in front of me were white. And
That's pretty sick.
It was the checkerboard, orange and white going all the way
they
around.
definitely still do that.
They still do that for
definitely
sure.
do.
But it was the first time that I learned about this. Is back
That's
in 2000.
awesome.
This was the
So-
year before Cam Newton got there, 2009.
So they kind of did that for Super Bowl 50. When you walked in, instead of the color coordinator, they handed you a sheet. And like you had no idea what the sheet was. And you opened that sheet and it had different like colors and it told you if you're in this aisle, then you're supposed to raise this up. And at the end of the like Super Bowl 50, the crowd, it basically read peace, love, and joy for Super Bowl 50. And then
I remember this, actually.
And then the
I
halftime
remember
came
that.
and then it was the factor X. And it left everybody speechless. Like,
Yeah.
really? You're going to
I
preach?
do remember they had
Yeah.
that. They kind of do this at wrestling too. Sometimes they'll just give people signs.
Yeah.
Or, there's certain parts of the crowd. They're like, you guys are cheering for the heel tonight.
Right.
You got some people are going to cheer for the good guys.
Yeah.
They kind of do
I
that.
love
It's
that,
really
though.
fun.
Yeah, me too.
It makes it
It's
really
awesome,
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
WWE
just
is a
adds to the atmosphere
It
of the
does.
game. So shout out Tennessee for doing
Shout
that.
out Tennessee. We got a
I
comment
like
from
that call
Kyle.
switch
How
on
about
that
the
interception.
See, and that's what I mean. Like if the game was played in Georgia, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You
The
know,
Saints
and they
gotta
probably
take
blow
note.
them out by 40.
Saints better take note on that.
Yeah.
No call PI. We're just throwing trash at the refs. We would have had it reversed.
I mean, I do think it was a bad call
It was a
initially.
bad
Like,
call.
I mean, if anything, you could have called it more PI on the Georgia offensive
Right.
player because I mean he's like arm barring him out like around the neck area, not even turning around for the ball, and he kind of pushes him into the interception anyways.
Yeah.
Like the Georgia guy just literally shoved the defender back.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, this is for me, I guess."
Yeah.
So it was a bad call.
It was just a bad call overall.
Yeah.
You could have
Yeah.
called pass interference on both, made it offsetting, and then just replayed the down. And nobody would have cared.
I don't like the precedent that
Yeah.
we're setting that we can just throw trash on the field. and
Yeah,
get a
that's
call.
that's
you
stupid.
can't do
That's-
that. You can't
That's
have that.
So-
insane.
But that's
We don't do
Texas.
that.
That's Texas. Now, all them dang Republicans down there in Texas They got the
Throwing
panties
water
in a
bottles.
bunch. They want to throw my water bottles and my microplastics on my football field, and then wonder why my team gets blown out versus anybody
Yeah.
that's good down there.
Lucky they didn't have tomatoes or anything, dude. There'd be
Also,
chucking.
something else we got to talk about. These fake injuries are getting out of control.
Oh,
Alabama
it's
had
annoying,
Phantom.
dude.
Alabama
Teams
had
are going
a-
fast, and they got a drop guy where
That
it
phantom
just
pain hits you,
goes down.
man.
That's it.
That
They had an
phantom
absolutely
pain.
egregious one, and again, it was the officials effed up because they didn't let Alabama substitute because when Tennessee came in. So, I mean, they didn't stop the play and let Bama substitute. So I can see why they were faking the injury, but then they messed up and they had a guy run off the field, and then they just like the coach just shoves him in the back. He's like, "Get back out on there, faking injury." So he pushes him, and he just goes,
Yeah.
The second he steps on the
flops down.
field off the sideline, he
Yeah.
drops.
Totally fine. Yeah.
They got to get those out of there.
Yeah.
'Cause there's a designated guy on like every team.
Every team.
There's like
They
if
call
people
you hear the code word from the sideline, and if you get that code word and you know you're that player with that code word,
there's a
down you go.
The barstool guy is like diehard Tennessee, and there's an offensive lineman every time on the field goal. So if the offense for Tennessee scores too fast on the field goal, there's an offensive lineman that always subs in and always gets injured every time, and it's the same guy every time. You'll notice it. Just watch one team for the rest of the year, and you'll start seeing it.
You know who started that? You know who started this, dude?
Who's that?
Jim Tressel, Ohio State, because when they played
I thought
Miami,
you were gonna say Chicago White Sox.
I
thought you were gonna say the White Sox.
Jim Tressel, Miami first one to implement it, used it as a weapon because Miami was going fast and they were decimating the Ohio State the Ohio State defense. And when Miami was going fast, Ohio State had a guy. When they started picking it up, they get 3, 4, 5 plays in a row. First down, second down, first down, first down, second down, first down. That guy drops, and it's like, oh yeah, they called it back in the day. They called it phantom cramping.
Oh,
where like all of a sudden you start cramping. You see a player lift his leg up. Oh, he's cramping. Oh, okay, First one to do it was Jim Tressel in that 2002 national championship game.
NCAA's got to do something to make this like illegal, or
but then you bring it in. Well, what if the player is injured and he's just trying to tough it out, and what stays, what goes, who's faking, who's not? I don't know. It's kind of tough.
Yeah, it is hard.
Yeah, Sabrina. Yeah, I was at a Nuggets game. I went to the Lakers game in last series, and the Nuggets did that with light up wristbands.
They had that going game 5 of the WNBA finals last night. They had
Did
the light
they?
up wristbands.
I saw that.
Yeah,
Everybody had the
sick.
towels. We'll talk about that on the Monday show, but absolutely electric. Or I mean the
On
Wednesday show.
Yeah,
What a
Absolutely
game.
electric environment
I'm
for the
sad.
finals. Out there.
I did have the Minnesota Lynx.
Yeah.
at
I thought they were going
11-1,
to get him.
man.
I thought
It
they
went to
were gonna get him.
overtime, and I was hopeful. And then, Sabrina Ionescu just basically took over overtime, and that was that.
No, it was Brianna.
Brianna
Ionescu
Stewart,
was
yeah.
terrible. She only made
She
one
couldn't.
shot.
She couldn't hit
But
anything.
yeah,
Brandon Stewart, that's what I meant.
Stewart.
Well, Sabrina
Stewart had-
set her up, though,
Yeah,
with some assists there.
she
I don't
did.
know.
Yeah, she was finding other ways. Like she was passing and everything. She
She's
just
pretty good.
couldn't get a bucket to
pretty good.
drop.
But,
But there was
what's her name from the
ticky
Lynx,
tacky
dude,
foul call
is
too.
awesome. I never heard of her until this year.
Collier's bucket. For
She's
sure.
freaking
Yeah.
nice, dude.
And
I like her a lot.
And she's
Kayla
young, so
McBride
like,
was
I mean,
really
she's
good in
just
that
hitting
last
her
night for
prime.
him.
Cool. That's good to
So-
hear. Good to know.
There's some more drama now. We will definitely cover
Oh, yeah.
that.
We
in
will-
depth on
We
the
gotta
Wednesday
talk
show.
about
Jimmy
that one
covers.
for
This
sure.
is the football frenzy.
This is
though.
football.
We're gonna
frenzy.
get back
gonna
to
get
the
back
football.
Yep.
Let's go to
Um,
Army, bro, guys.
Yeah.
Army football.
Bryson Daly,
Yes.
5 rushing touchdowns, and he has one through the air, 171 yards on the ground.
Shout out Army Military Broadcast Radio.
That Army
Come on,
offense
Joel. They're
is
kicking butt, man.
crazy.
They
Ar-
beat up
Dude,
on East Carolina.
You got to call V, and we got to set up a
We
watch
got to set
party.
it up.
Dude,
We're
A watch
bringing the
party,
projector.
dude.
V's got a man cave.
Dude, if he has
We're
a man
setting it
cave,
up.
just set up the cameras on me, and I'll host, and I'll just make this thing.
Yeah, V doesn't really have a man cave. The man cave is the living room, and the wife just doesn't come in. He doesn't really have a man cave.
That's
But I
man
know.
cave enough.
That's
totally
man
get-
cave
I
enough,
totally
man.
get what
all
you're
you
saying.
need, buddy. That's all you need.
That's
all
a
I
man
need.
cave right there.
But yeah, when is the game?
Joel, maybe use one of your. It's the Commander's Cup. It's the last game of the
Yeah.
season.
Yeah, it'll be later. It'll be in a
Army
few
Navy,
months.
dude.
That's
Use
like
one of
what?
your contacts. Let's set something up.
Yep.
Like, come on,
Got
we
to.
gotta
Set
do a
some-
watch.
dude, I'm gonna
It's
crush
shaping
it
up.
for MB Radio for Army Navy.
Okay.
Will be hosted
Caveman
by
said
you
he's gonna
three.
dress up like a billy goat if Navy
It'll be
wins.
it'll be hosted by you three.
Okay, so where do you guys want to do this? Where are we thinking?
Let's go to the game. MB Radio.
Okay. And the
Sponsors-
game is
It's in Annapolis, Maryland.
Yeah.
Man,
Well,
you're making me
that,
work
that's a
overtime.
Let's
backup
call up
plan
our
there.
boy Shockey.
What
I won't
the
cuss
original
for 2
plan
weeks
is
on the
V-House.
show, and he can send us to the Army Navy game.
The original plan is always V's house, right?
Okay,
he does
right.
it there.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
I'm down for that.
It would be cool to go to the game, but if we just set up hosted by you three, the veterans, at V's house on his couch, right there.
So
Got two sound guys here.
So it's in Maryland, in other words.
Yeah, it's in Maryland.
Yeah,
The game's
yeah.
in Annapolis, Maryland.
Okay, I'll make some phone calls.
Let's
We'll
go.
see what we can do.
Yeah.
My
I
man.
got some family out in Maryland and Philly, so if we really
Hey,
need a spot to
I
stay,
could get us tickets in there. It's just I don't know about the airfare. I don't know if I can pull that. So I'll see what I can
All right,
do.
that
Omaha,
checks
you
one
got
of
that
our
big-
boxes.
You got that big truck, man. We'll
Omaha
all
pack in
Productions.
there and drive to
That's where
Maryland.
Stokely
Road
comes in.
trip.
Oh, God, man.
Stokely,
No,
if
we're
you're
packing
watching,
in my car. We're hopping
Stokely,
in.
call
No
into
front
the show,
bumper, no headlight.
720-619.
I
Yeah,
love
call
your
if you
car,
want.
dude. Your car is like the Ghostbuster mobile.
It is.
That,
It's
I'm
cute.
not a
It-
veteran, but my damn car. That's a veteran right there. That is a
It's been
veteran
through
right
some
there.
stuff. Yes,
Shit.
sir.
I like it.
The caveman mobile. It's been through the ringer.
It has.
Speaking of the midshipmen, that defense of theirs
Hey.
was nasty.
Nasty.
Two return touchdowns, 2 pick sixes.
Yep.
Or one,
Army Navy
one was
both
a fumble
undefeated.
actually, but
Army Navy both
81-17.
undefeated.
dude, they were going crazy.
Army Navy both
It was
undefeated.
us talking about it. If they play each other in the Army Navy game, the Commanders Cup, and then the next week would be the conference championship. So they might play each other back to back weeks.
Are they in a conference?
No, I
They're
think they're
both-
still
I
independent.
think they're
aren't
independent.
they?
No, they're both in the American. They're both in the
No way.
AAC. They're
Hold
yeah,
on.
they're in the
They
AAC
are.
now.
The AA.
I think you're right.
They're the
Caveman-
top two in the
Caveman
AAC.
dropping
Everybody else
truth bombs
sucks.
over here.
Because their conference games are playing Charlotte.
Yeah.
I think the only independent teams are UMass, UConn, and Notre Dame.
Dude,
Army
oh.
Navy top of the
Yo,
AAC at
no
4-0
kidding.
and 6-0.
Everybody that's tuning in to TikTok, we really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Especially
Thank you.
Marcus Davis. Thank you for stopping by.
Welcome in.
Thanks, Marcus.
Good morning.
Thank you for stopping in. Yeah, so
Army
I mean,
Navy. Both
boys, what are
undefeated.
we?
Well, what?
Let
that
us know
knock
what you
them out-
guys are. Your thoughts are.
I mean,
on
Tulane's
the-
right there too. So if Army beats Navy or Navy beats Army, that puts them at 1 loss. I think maybe Tulane.
One of
be.
them beat Tulane already, I think.
I think you're right. I think Army did.
All right, so,
So if
Navy
they-
just has to beat Tulane as well.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
go over the remaining schedule for each team. Okay, Navy, their biggest challenge is this Saturday. They got Notre Dame. That's a
Oh.
huge game.
I was going to bring
That's
that
a
up.
massive game.
Yeah,
this
I think
could
Navy.
add a 1.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then they play Rice, South Florida, then Tulane.
that game is in Annapolis, Maryland. Notre Dame does have to go to Navy.
They do have to go there. That's good.
It's
It's
a
going to be
tough
bumping.
place to play
It's going to be bumping.
for
And then
sure.
Let's see what Army's remaining schedule is as well. They also have to play Notre Dame too. So I
Yeah,
mean,
at the
dang,
end of the
there
year,
is a
yeah.
chance that both of these teams are either undefeated, they both have one loss,
loss.
or somebody drops one to Notre Dame, but somebody
Yeah.
doesn't.
This is good
Here-
for Notre Dame's, you
Yeah.
know, resume too, going into the college
Exactly.
football final.
Well, and dude, Notre Dame
Got
has
some
a
ranked
ton to play
squads
for
on
because they're
yeah,
not in the conference either. They're independent.
they're
so
independent.
They
They're
can
fighting
only
to-
We
make
do have a contract with the ACC, where we'll basically be the second team from the ACC into the college football playoff.
Yeah.
Okay.
but so
That makes
they
sense.
do have to win. Like,
have to win
based off of
We have to win.
you
out.
know their merit.
If
Yeah,
we
like-
if we finish with 1 loss, we have a guaranteed spot. If we have 2 losses or more, we're up for
Yeah.
what the chop and block.
it's
basis.
a
You're at the 12
at the
seed
mercy
now.
of an at
Right.
large. So yeah,
That's
And I think we're better than Iowa State. I think if Notre Dame played Iowa State in a neutral field, Notre Dame mops Iowa State.
I mean they almost dropped one to
tough.
UCF this weekend. That was an incredible game. Though. That was a lot of fun to watch.
that one was fun.
It was Iowa State's defense. I mean, they were just giving up big play after big play. They gave up almost multiple return touchdowns. One guy dropped the ball on a pick six. He dropped it at the 1 yard line. And thankfully for UCF, it rolled out at the 1 instead of, getting like picked up or going out of the back of the end zone. So they just were able to punch it in. the very next play. But
the implications with
almost a
Notre Dame
crazy-
and the two teams that we just discussed, the Army and Navy, could affect how many teams from the Big Ten get in with Indiana kicking the crap out of
They
Nebraska.
beat the snot out of
56
Nebraska.
to 7.
Let's go,
Indiana
Indiana.
has to play Ohio State and Michigan still. So that's going to shake out that conference for sure.
Michigan's not that good, man. They're
I
out
think
of the
they're
top
gonna be-
Indiana's
25.
going to could win that game, but I don't know. I mean, that's a game where Indiana could get jobbed against Michigan.
Indiana,
Who
they got a
knows?
ball club. Ohio State's definitely going to be tough for them. At Michigan, they're a shell of what they were last year. They lost way too much in terms of
So-
coaching staff, talent, and players to the draft.
Even if it's in the big house, I think Indiana would probably destroy them.
They
Right,
got the
right
chance,
now,
yeah.
Indiana
Will
at
Johnson's
the
out for
top
that
of the
defense. so.
Big Ten, at the top of the Big Ten is Indiana, Oregon, Penn State, and Illinois. Illinois also winning with the throwback leather helmets.
Those are
Those were
those are
sick.
clean.
We talked about that in the group chat. Those
They-
were fire.
Those took like 2 hours
Each to make.
to hand stencil.
Illinois 6-1. Everybody else undefeated 7-0 or 6-0. So that thing's going to shake out itself too with Penn State and Ohio State and Indiana playing Ohio State as well. You know, if they only have one loss in Ohio State, they could be playing in the Big Ten championship. How do you keep them out? How many teams from the Big Ten get in at the end of the year? You know, on
What? And let's
that
look at
you know, at large bids is what they're calling.
let's look at Oregon's remaining schedule because they have a chance to. They could be the number 1 seed if they just hold on because that's where
So,
they're at right now.
Upcoming games, they got Illinois this week, Michigan, Maryland, Washington, or Wisconsin, and then they end the season with Washington. So pretty easy,
Pretty winnable games.
winnable
Yeah,
games.
let's have some winnable
And
ones.
Maryland,
Illinois
they-
will. This will be the game. that
Illinois
shakes
is
out the
probably
top of
their
that,
toughest one they got left
for sure.
Yeah.
And I am hammering the over in that game, boys.
Oh, and let's not forget
You're
Penn
listening on
State
TikTok.
is
Penn State
they're
too.
up there. They're undefeated as well.
Penn State is up there. Penn State, they do have a tricky little part to finish their season. They play Washington. They still have to play Ohio State. They play Washington, Purdue, Minnesota, and Maryland. So really, that Penn State Ohio State game, Ohio State plays freaking, you know, Indiana and Illinois and Penn State. That's going to be tricky for Ohio State there.
Definitely.
You know,
If they drop another one too, that one guy's got to do more
yeah.
bets.
Oh, they
than he
play
did.
IU at the end of the year, November 23rd. That Indiana Ohio State game, but there's going to be plenty of shaking out by then.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I
It'd
mean,
be
end of the
interesting to
year-
see how many people from the Big Ten.
By the end of the year, I'd probably say we'll have 8 of the 12 seeds, pretty much where we know like
Yeah.
these guys are going to be in it. End of the year, dude, it's going to be till the
Nuts.
final whistle on NB Radio on Mondays is going to be electric.
I mean,
coming up around the corner, boys. So
right now, though,
tune
it's
in.
it's looking like you're going to have a lot of Big Ten and SEC representation. Those two divisions are pretty stacked. There's a lot of teams that are just rolling
Kyle
right
off
now.
the top. Indiana's a real deal. I mean, hard to argue right now.
Yeah, we'll just look at some of what they did against what's their name,
Nebraska.
Yeah, Nebraska. I mean,
56 to 7.
a little overrated, Nebraska.
I think so.
Little
We might-
overrated.
They're too young.
We might
Yeah,
have hyped
they
them up.
beat,
young
they
just
beat
right now.
Colorado, and everybody was like, "Oh, Nebraska's back," and I'm like, I don't know. You
I don't know about that.
Just attack
Yeah, I think-
CU Swiss cheese O line, and you got to win.
Yeah, that was CU. To their credit, I think they've done a better job of figuring out how to protect Shador. Their defense does still really struggle against the run when the team's a good running team. But
Yeah, I agree.
I have an impressive win against Arizona where they looked very complete.
Yep.
They looked very
fun.
complete against UCF too.
Yeah, they did.
They just made some bad mistakes against Kansas State. Still nearly won that game. So
Yeah, they barely lost.
Dude,
But-
Just barely.
SMU is in the ACC now.
they are, yeah.
Yes.
That's a monkey wrench in that conference with Pitt undefeated, Miami
It's
at
gonna-
7-0, and Clemson at 6-1.
It's going to be so chaotic because we Indiana, Pitt, like nobody was expecting these teams. Like these guys have come out of
Not at
nowhere.
all.
Right.
You got Army and Navy are all of a sudden in the fold. Vanderbilt's in the top 25 now. Like
Boise State is a
Boise
monkey wrench.
State is
UNLV
something
is a
else.
monkey wrench. I mean, the end of this college football season, dude. It's
gonna
previewing
be
next week.
nuts.
I mean, Miami, Jimmy Cover. If you're watching on TikTok, follow Jimmy Covers on TikTok, giving out the best bets. I mentioned it on one of my TikToks. that ACC schedule coming down. Miami's just been a cash ATM covering. Bet them again in the first half. If you bet Miami in the first half, undefeated against the spread. Absolutely unstoppable in the first half. Second half, teams play them. They see it. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, and they kind of adjust. They get into close games.
With,
they did.
Louisville. Yeah.
Louisville. I bet them in but they had a 20-point lead at halftime.
Yeah. That is my big
they had
concern with Miami.
Their spread was 2 in the first half, and I was like, oh, Miami's probably going to be leading by 5.
Complacent, dude.
Yeah.
Like out of nowhere.
Cam Ward's solid. Probably the best. I love watching him play quarterback. I think he's a
real calm in the pocket.
Gotta be like, top 5. One of the first quarterbacks taken in the NFL.
I mean,
great to utilize.
I think you're right. Where he's the number 1 QB prospect right now.
He's got to be.
I would think so.
They don't turn the ball over a lot. The issue isn't their offense. It's like they're undefeated. The games they've almost lost is because they're letting Cal run up and score, run up and down the field. Cal
complacent and
George's quarterback, is he draft eligible this year? Did you guys see that?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah,
I think he's dropping way far, especially if they lose more games. Because you see, a lot of the times these guys get put under pressure, and it's rough for them. Because they whooped the Longhorns.
Yeah, I
still
mean,
had 2 picks.
I think he's kind of like in the Stetson Bennett situation where it's like
he has a live arm. That Carson Beck kid,
he does.
He's got a live arm. He can make all the throws. He's tall. I think somebody's going to put him in that NFL system.
Right.
Someone will definitely take a chance there.
He's a good later round pick where it's like you can bring this guy in and let him.
Second round easy.
All right, I could see that too.
Yeah, just because
second, third round.
Like to me, I see a lot of Jordan Love in him. You know, from college where it's like tall guy, arm strength. Some of the teams in that aspect of like, oh, he threw too big. I don't think NFL teams give one iota about that. It's can I translate his skills from the college level to the NFL level? His footwork, his pocket presence, some of the things you can't teach it at the quarterback position. I can teach you how to read out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 progression. I'm going to give you, say, hey, maybe, Miami, wants to draft a quarterback because they don't know what's going to happen with Tua. Give Carson Beck, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Wallace, some of those. I think it might be okay. Some of those things that you can't teach with the arm talent.
Yep.
I think Carson Beck's going to be one of those guys.
Fair enough.
Same with Jackson Dart.
I get nervous about guys that come from super stacked college teams.
I see your point.
But because you're they're just on all 3 phases. Their team's always so much better than the opponent.
Yeah.
And it's hard to, even when you make mistakes, to lose a game and to face a lot of adversity like that.
Yeah.
That's why I wasn't very high on JJ McCarthy, although we don't know how he's going to play because the knee injury, but he looked good in the preseason. A lot of people felt confident about that. But preseason's its own different thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I never even thought that he was going to get the starting job.
I didn't think he was a first round pick.
Season.
I didn't.
I thought Sam Darnold would be starting, just not playing to the level that he is.
Hype.
Yeah.
Winning
but
the
I can see
turning around.
Carson Beck does have the better physical size and stature.
Totally.
And you're
way
right.
Bigger arm. Way
huge arm.
Huge arm.
To translate into the NFL. I think he's a guy that if the right team drafts him, he'll be very successful.
If a bad team drafts him, he's going to suck.
I mean, if he goes to a Tennessee Carolina,
Tennessee,
Vegas, even then
Vegas,
it's
I don't see Vegas picking him though.
No.
If they had their option, obviously, I think they'd go Shedeur.
I think they really want Shedeur. Yeah,
the Antonio Pierce thing and Deion Sanders.
Yeah. So I mean, I do want to look ahead to some matchups we got coming up next week for college football.
I like that. I was going to
take a look.
Thursday, crazy huge ACC game, Pitt versus Syracuse. Syracuse.
Are you serious?
5-1. That's Thursday night, man. So
come on, Pitt.
5:30 Mountain Time.
I'm riding with the Panthers.
What, dude?
That's gonna be a huge game.
Win it for Bub.
Win
it for Bub means.
That is in Pitt.
Pitt Syracuse.
I mean, that's better. I think that's better than the Thursday night football game we got coming up. Vikings Rams. That actually might be solid.
That's gonna be a sneaky game. Where's that game at?
It's in LA.
Give me the Rams.
That's still
give me the Rams.
That's still basically a home game, though. LA Rams don't have any fans. All right, then Friday, crazy Mountain West game coming up here.
Yeah.
Boise State.
Yes.
UNLV.
Here we go.
There's several good games.
If you told me 295 points are scored in that game, I'd believe you.
That's in Vegas. UNLV.
Yeah.
And then, honestly, these games don't have as much implication on the top 25 or conference champions, but they should still be pretty exciting. Louisville, Boston College, Rutgers, USC. Like
Ooh.
those ones, I still feel like we could see some chaos in those ones. But
Yeah,
UNLV,
definitely.
Boise State, that's the big game that has a lot of chaos. Hello, Mr. H Train. How's it going?
Boise
pass you
State.
the
Boise State.
shredded layered under there.
After UNLV, they play San Diego State too. That's going to be an interesting game. Nevada, San Jose State University, and then Wyoming, and then they finish it out with Oregon State. So that's going to be the last part of Boise State's record. They're probably going to finish with that one loss to Oregon in a tough game, only losing by 3, 37-34 back in September. Boise State, though, dude. I mean, you're going to just throw them into that last 4 seeds in the at-large bid.
That is a
team
problem.
I do not want to play.
That's a problem.
Say you're Miami or Clemson, you got to go to Boise State. Buddy.
Even on a neutral, I don't want to play Boise State on a neutral field.
Which 5 conferences get the automatic bid? Is it's obviously SEC, Big 10, Big 12,
ACC. Definitely will.
ACC.
and then is it still the Pac-12?
The group of 5 conference, however they lop those, whoever wins that conference automatically goes in.
Isn't it only the top 4 big conferences?
Basically, and then
so then
and then it's the
Mountain
top,
West,
the
will
top
be
seed from
out
like
of
the
it.
remaining other
remaining
conferences.
other conferences, and then the last 4 picks
I could easily
from
be
age
Boise,
of
though.
12 are all at large. So it's going to be what the college football committee
Okay.
values within your conference, your strength of schedule.
There's going to be
win-loss.
a big controversy at the end of this year because there's some teams playing some damn good football. So it
And
is
all
it's
these
gonna be
teams.
tough.
Remember, we kind of already talked about it. All these teams play each other. All this is going to shake itself out for the course of the next month and a half. Where after conference play, if there's a team that's on the cusp, Clemson loses to Miami. Does Clemson get in with 2 losses and how their team's playing football? And Dabo Sweeney, is somebody going to take him as an at-large bid over, say, I don't know, maybe an Army or Navy, who maybe one of those 2 teams upset Notre Dame?
They're still undefeated.
How do you keep out Army if they're undefeated after beating Navy, who's ranked, Notre Dame,
that's
who's
just
ranked?
Unpatriotic if you do that.
How do
at that
you,
point.
against Clemson, who might have 3 losses? I mean, that's going to be tough. So it's like those last 4 picks. Yeah, dude, it's going to be nuts. I think it's going to go I think this is only going to set up for, we already talked about it too, a Sweet 16 sort of, thing, because that just markets itself if you're the NCAA and college football playoff. Because I think they're trying to go away from the marketing of the NCAA because it stinks. And they just want to do like, oh no, this is just like the college football playoff.
They do.
This
need
is
to
its
market
own
away from the
thing. Like
NCAA.
March Madness is its own separate thing from the NCAA altogether.
So at this point, this transfer portal, you're basically looking at professional sports with these guys.
Right.
You're paying them all this money in
Essentially, yeah.
NIL deals.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of these teams are playing a lot better. There's people that were lower string guy on a SEC school just figured, hey, I'll go to one of these smaller market teams now that it's a bigger tournament. And these guys are going to want to play even harder than the guys at the SEC school. And, you're competing for a job that you may never get when you're on those big schools, dude. You're like everyone on the team is so good at that point. It's so hard to compete for a starting job. You commit to Georgia, you could never play a snap in your 4 years. And you just be a guy that
risk that. Yeah.
Do you want to risk that, or do you want to try and continue it outside of college? Because there's people's dream goal is to get to the NFL. They don't want to stop playing after college, even if they have to.
True.
All right. Some other big matchups that I just put eyes on. Obviously, we talked Notre Dame, Navy. That's huge.
Heck
Oregon,
yeah.
Illinois. That's going to be a huge one.
The game.
Missouri, Alabama, and Bama.
Oh.
This is a must-win for Alabama.
Absolutely.
They cannot drop this if they want to even have a hope. I think if
That's a
Bama loses
tough
one more
game.
game, they cannot.
They won't be in.
They won't be.
They won't be in the playoffs.
Yeah, so they have to win this. It is in Bama. That's good for them. UMass, I just know they're playing a team
14-point
that
Alabama favorites.
they're playing Wagner that has a 0-0 record. So are they like a? Is that
Who?
like a Wagner?
Wagner.
It says they're 0-0 on the season. I don't even know how that's.
Mass and Wagner.
Yeah, that's
UMass
just
versus Wagner.
that's just a goofy one.
That's kind of weird. Yeah.
BYU kind of got to go to Central Florida. I mean, look, the Knights there, they've played a couple of teams tough.
Spreads
They
too.
they gave Iowa State a scare last week, so
They really did.
They did.
BYU gotta be careful in
Illinois,
there.
Oregon. Wow.
I can't wait for that one. They should have saved the throwbacks for that game.
21-point spread. Illinois is 21.5-point underdog.
that's-
3 touchdown underdogs in Eugene. Go the
That's interesting.
Fighting Illini.
I don't think of that it's going to be that big of a
I
difference.
thought it was like going to be
Yeah.
like, I made that number when I saw it last week.
9-10 maybe.
You're right on it. I had 10.5 where I'm like, Oregon could win by 13 and I wouldn't be shocked. And Illinois could take this game into overtime and I wouldn't.
Right.
Be shocked.
I could see this easily being like a
You know
52-49
what I mean?
ball game.
Oregon's defense is
the
not
total
like
is
that.
54.5. I almost bet the over already. I have not touched this game. Followed Jimmy Covers until the final whistle on TikTok, where we give out all the best bets. But
Another huge SEC game.
yeah,
Vandy hosting the Longhorns.
18-point
There we go.
underdogs.
Upset
Vanderbilt.
Masters just cracked into the top 25. They didn't look great last week against Ball State.
I think Texas can take their frustrations out on Vanderbilt in this
Yeah,
one. I
that
do
could-
think Vanderbilt covers the 18. If Texas wins by 2 touchdowns, I wouldn't be shocked.
All right,
Yeah.
that makes sense there. But just something to keep
FSU,
your
Miami.
something to keep your
Rivalry
eye
games
on.
are always insane.
Even though FSU's
even
garbage.
though FSU's
Yeah,
garbage.
it's 1-6.
Miami's been playing some close games. I mean, they're not really
and ever
blowing
since they
anybody out.
Ever since they got Ungalev,
Ooh, yeah.
however you say
DJ.
it,
Uyunglele.
Ungalev,
Yeah.
ever since they got him out, they haven't been as bad. I think they've at least looked a little more competent on offense.
Definitely.
Hasn't
They've been running the
translated
ball a
into
lot more
wins.
with Etienne's brother.
Yeah, so
Or no, he plays at Georgia. I'm
yeah,
sure.
he goes to Georgia, but whoever the running
Louisville,
back is.
they only won by 7 against Louisville. They were in a dogfight against Cal, only winning by 1. We're talking about Miami. Virginia Tech, at home against Virginia Tech, and you only win by 4.
They needed a game winner to
You
beat Virginia.
Exactly. So, I don't know, man. Miami, Florida State. I know that's a rivalry game. Miami's been playing some tough games. 21-point underdogs are the FSU Seminoles going on the road to Miami.
This does feel like a
if
huge
it's
trap game for Miami.
Huge trap game for Miami, dude.
This could
Who
be
do they
the
play
best
after
for
Miami?
Florida State.
Or after Florida State, they play Duke, Georgia Tech, Wake Forest, Syracuse. So
Duke ain't bad this year.
Duke ain't bad. That's gonna be a tough
Neither
one,
is
too.
Syracuse. They're 5-1
Georgia Tech is a game that Miami could lose.
for sure.
Georgia Tech plays some tough defense. That game is in Georgia Tech.
We got a
That'll
couple.
be tough.
Excuse me. Couple of in-state rivalries going on this weekend.
Yeah.
Michigan State, Michigan, and then
Ooh,
KSU, Kansas.
Okay.
Kansas hasn't been that good this season, but again, it's a rivalry game.
They had
Uh,
a big confidence win last week too.
Yeah.
So sitting at the
A
19.
lot can happen there. Obviously, we touched a little A&M, LSU and Texas A&M going on this weekend.
Yeah, that's
So-
probably
so
going to be the biggest SEC
That's-
big battle game. That's like everybody needs to watch.
That's going to
LSU,
be huge.
Texas A&M. I think will
Um,
be the game. 7:30, so it'll be a night game. That game's going to
Okay.
be
Oh, yeah.
the prime time.
That's
Primetime
probably
game on
college game
ABC.
day, right?
College game
Gotta
day will
be.
be
For
there.
sure.
That's
And
gotta be.
A&M. Huge ACC matchup. SMU and Duke.
Ooh,
The Blue
yeah.
Devils, they're hosting that one. Both teams
SMU,
6-1. SMU, they're the 22nd ranked team in the nation.
That could
Two.
sneak Duke up in the top 25.
So yeah, that's
You're not wrong, caveman. I could
big.
throw a monkey wrench in all those teams in the ACC
yeah.
for sure.
Some sneaky teams there in the ACC coming out of nowhere. Penn State got a challenge, got to go on the road to a 5-2 Wisconsin team.
Ooh, yeah.
That's a 5:30
Yeah.
game. Going to be featured on
Okay.
NBC.
6.5-point spread in favor of Penn State on the road.
But
in Madison.
Wisconsin, man, they haven't been bad this year. They're
I think they have 3 losses to all good
They're-
teams.
they've got
They
2
lost to
losses.
They lost to USC. They lost to Alabama. Yeah, they have 2 losses.
Yeah, so
They beat Northwestern, beat Rutgers.
USC,
beat
that's a
Purdue,
team that nearly beat
beat San Diego.
Penn
Really-
State too.
They
So
almost beat LSU. too.
yeah.
Yeah, that was a good game. Yeah,
USC's just kind of gotten some bad breaks, and then
yeah,
they blew.
d-
Then they
yeah.
blew that lead to
that
Maryland
was
last
tou- that was
last
they,
week.
terrible,
they
dude.
lost it.
They
That
all
was
they really
terrible.
they could still be in the top 25
Lincoln
if they just
Riley, what are we doing, dude? Run the freaking football.
Yeah. And then I think the last matchup I'm keeping an eye on, 2 5-2 teams, Cincinnati and Colorado. Both two teams that are still technically alive there in that Big 12 chase.
They are.
I mean, yeah, the Big 12, nobody's for sure a shoe-in in there either.
Unless you're BYU. BYU kind of has it locked down.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but
because they beat Kansas State, so they're definitely.
Yeah. I mean, unless they drop one.
After Cincinnati, they play tough Texas Tech University, Utah, Kansas, and end the season with Oklahoma State. So we'll see. That's going to be another thing that's going to shake itself out in the Big 12.
Some primetime matchups tomorrow.
Yeah, Texas Tech and Kansas State are all ahead of Colorado. Yeah, Cincinnati, Texas Tech, Kansas State, Iowa State, BYU, all ahead of Colorado in the Big 12.
But they were talking about it during the Colorado game where there's still a way for them to climb up there.
There is if everybody loses 3 games.
They just need some pandemonium.
They need carnage, and that always happens at the end of the year with the Big 12 too. Every year, there's always fans storming the field because somebody got upset.
And CU does have a Texas Tech matchup later this year too, so they could
one of
shake
the
it up
undefeated
there.
teams up at the top so far still, so they could take them out.
It's going to be all interesting.
I cannot wait
until the final whistle.
It's going to get more and more.
MB
crazy.
Radio is going to have all of the college football breakdowns for you.
You thought you saw
every
upsets earlier this season. I mean, I don't know if anything tops the Vanderbilt upset, but you're going to see some more stuff shake up. We got some stuff tomorrow going on, some smaller schools. The second year FBS school, Sam Houston State, is going into Florida International to play in Pitbull Stadium. Don't know why they named their stadium after the pop star Pitbull, but way to go, Florida International.
All right, there you go.
And
Dave ran off the top rope, dude.
UTEP is going to Louisiana. UTEP won their first game last year. They won their first game since last season. So they went 357 days without winning a football game until last week.
Football.
UTEP is on fire.
We're going to have a Tuesday till the final whistle football frenzy the way that this new season is shaking out. When's the NFL going to play a Tuesday game? We don't know. We will find out until the final whistle on MB Radio. Stay tuned and we'll be right back with you with much, much more and top plays coming up until the final whistle on MB Radio.
That desert sun, it burns my eyes. It burns your picture in my mind. It brings the chaos that I find. Feels like I'm running out of time.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
You are looking live at Military Broadcast Radio till the final whistle of Monday Football Frenzy. We've broken down some NFL Week 7 matchups. We did college football this last week and all the upsets, the futures, the schedules, the implications of it all going into the end of the college football season. We're going to get into some top plays, some news and notes from those top plays, what we saw, what we like, and then we're going to get into some fantasy football breakdowns for Monday Night Football. Here with you till the final whistle on MBR. And boys, it was action-packed all over the field. Left, right, and center. We're going to start off with some college football since we touched on it. Let's start. We talked about Army-Navy. Army-Navy, man. Army, just a tough football team. We got Army football. Let's go.
UNLV coming up on Friday. It's going to be an enormous game. Oh, the one-handed grab. Casey Reynolds.
$38 points for a team that runs a triple option. That's a lot of
45.
45.
Yeah.
That's a lot of points.
That was only one of 7 completions that Bryson Daly had. And,
UNLV coming up on Friday.
he only needs. He didn't need to really pass it that much because you run for 171 yards and 5 touchdowns out of that triple option. Eastern Carolina, the quarterback is killing you with his legs.
Yeah.
Maybe stay home for like one of these option plays. Like, stop letting this guy take it.
Yeah. No, can't have it. Don't want to do it. Miami, we touched on Miami. I like Miami a lot. Been betting on them a lot. Perfect betting spread. If you bet on them in the first half, ATM machine. It's free money. -110 odds. You're getting a low number because all these bookmakers think these games are going to be close in the first half when sometimes they're really not. Georgia covered the first half spread for me. No problem. Only getting 1.5 point minus. They were leading in halftime by, 2 touchdowns. So, but Miami running back goes absolutely beast mode. Shades of Marshawn Lynch in college.
This time just hands it off. And Martinez lowers the shoulder, breaks free. He's headed inside the 10 and muscles right on into the end zone. He took to Marion McDonald for a ride. He said, hit
Lowering the shoulder.
Truck stick.
Yep. That was a huge touchdown, too. That put them up by 2 scores late in the game because Louisville went down and scored and brought it within 1, but there was just not enough time left for them.
Yeah.
So massive score right there. And then, I love that. I mean, it's one thing to truck a guy, but then the truck a guy, then get back going like full speed and then just carry a defender into the end zone.
Yeah.
It's like,
draped on his
hop
back.
on for a ride, little guy. Let's go.
I like it. USC losing a couple games here, had a great play, one of the top plays of the week. Let's check it out.
There's the shot to the end zone. Did he? He did! Touchdown, Jacoby Lane! Mind-blowing!
Catches you'll ever see.
Incredible catches.
Guys you're probably never going to hear from ever again.
Dude,
I'm selling car insurance next month.
I'm so glad that Eric Collins also calls college football because, man, I always try to catch some of his games. The dude's just got such great energy.
Yeah.
That was an incredible catch. I mean,
great play by USC.
Anybody would be freaking out after that. Jacoby Lane
He's falling back. He's not even really on his feet right there making that catch.
Some underrated hands right there.
Second. What a grab.
Indiana running a rough shot over Nebraska. This was one of the reasons why.
Corey Barney back deep. Quinn Warren send it away. Oh my goodness, what a mistake by Corey Barney. Nebraska will be backed up deep in their own territory.
Negative football IQ right there.
and you walk out with the ball at the 1 yard.
Would have
That's
been
a
a
lear-
flag
that's
on
a
the
learning
kicker.
moment.
He has to straddle the line and catch the ball.
Bro, toe tap that. Yeah.
If you straddle the line and you catch the ball, you're out of bounds. You get the ball at the 40.
Yeah.
You cannot catch the ball
And then
and
walk
then
out.
pin yourself at the 1 yard line with absolutely no offense to speak of that day. Just don't even. What are we even catching it for?
I wonder if they knew,
Yeah,
like,
let
hey,
that
like,
one
like,
bounce.
if that kid back there was like a freshman or something, they're like, hey, like this guy's like a young player. Like, let's try to like kick the ball out the one and see if like we can't trick him into like.
I mean, it was
Put
kind of a
himself up the
coffin.
wall.
They kicked it over in that corner for a reason.
Yeah.
What do we got going on there?
That is, I think, is
that-
like notifications coming from one of these computers.
Yeah,
I
we
can
love
like faintly hear that sound.
Yeah,
too.
I'm like, what is happening right now on NB Radio?
So I don't know.
The wheels
That
are falling off, Stokely. This is your ship you're driving here, buddy.
might have been intentional
Shout
there
out
though by the
Stokely,
kicker. I like it.
legendary.
Yeah. Well, hey, certainly a learning moment for that young man.
I watched this
Definitely.
game. This was
That's
the
what the
BYU finish. It was a great finish. Absolutely awesome game against Oklahoma State. We bet Oklahoma State against the spread. That cast for us. BYU does win, and they have a firm control in the Big 12. Let's check out why.
Happy feet. Downfield. Caught. Broken tackle. Lassiter. Touchdown. Are you kidding me? Years ago, this program won its first and only national championship.
I mean,
right
what
there.
are we doing? You're
Look, if
playing
you're
a
coming-
shell defense when you know that they're going for the end zone,
Yeah, I don't know.
and you let them throw it underneath and take a little slant route,
Like if you're gonna
35 yards for a touchdown.
you're gonna let them like do the dump off pitch and catch. You guys got to make
You
sure
gotta
you can
route.
tackle. Like,
Yeah,
you
route.
gotta sure up.
You can't have two safeties back there just lollygagging. Like you
Yeah.
don't even calm down. Like you just stand at the goal line, wait for him to come to you. Like they didn't attack the football at any point of
No.
that series.
That's probably
They-
why Oklahoma is no
Probably-
longer
you're-
ranked.
You're
They had
probably
one-
not wrong.
They had
BYU
one guy
taking
try to go
advantage
for
of
the
that.
tackle, and he missed it. He did
Yeah.
not wrap up the legs. I mean, if you just hit the guy and stop him for a second, like he goes down, like they probably burn time off just trying to keep him on his feet and bring him down. Because if you get four guys, that dude's huge. The guy that caught the ball, that's a big tight end
tight
guy
end, yeah.
on the outside.
Yeah.
You get 3 or 4 people wrapped up on him and keep his legs moving and just churn the clock out. You got him there.
Yeah.
All you got to do is get one body on him.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
looking like the Saints
I
defense.
don't know. Maybe
Come on now.
maybe send more than a 3-man pressure, in clutch time. You're playing for nothing. What do you like these coaches that play conservative in college football for me? I'm like, dude, what are you playing for? Send the freaking house. It doesn't matter. It literally does not matter for Oklahoma State at this point. So if you want to
Playoff
win,
hopes are gone.
you're here to
gone.
upset BYU. What are you
Yeah.
playing conservative for? What are you playing 2 shell quarters?
They're not the better team.
You're
here.
not the better team.
They're not.
You have the lead 35-31. Even if you rally to the football and you stop them, they have to call timeout. They got to kick a field. You're at least playing for overtime. You can't let them just walk into it for a touchdown with no pressure. Maybe if you send a 5-man blitz, he does that ball, because it was a timing route. So it's like, you're on that, like you said, like a skinny post. Buddy, why don't you try to throw off the timing and rhythm of that play if you know what they're trying to do? Absolutely awful defense from Oklahoma State. The Big 12 defense has been bad for a long time. This
It
is
really has.
one of the many reasons why. I love the coded messaging from Caveman here. UCLA quarterback was hiding something. What is he hiding? Let's watch it
check it
until the
out.
final whistle on NB Radio.
Already a 4th down conversion on this drive. Garbers steps out of the pocket, makes a man miss. Still on his feet, Ethan Garbers down the sideline, touchdown, UCLA. Where did that come from?
Buddy was on his horse there.
Dude,
The
who
juke-
said white kids can't play running back at quarterback
That's
positions?
right. That's right.
Who said white kids can't play running back
There
at
you
quarterback?
go,
positions?
UCLA.
What a move
What
there,
a
That
too.
was a great move. Dude.
I mean,
The guy containing
full
the edge.
speed too. Like he
juked him.
didn't
Yeah.
slow down and do the move. He ran at that kid full speed.
I
and
mean,
did
this guy, he's kind of your like prototype pocket
I
passer.
like
He's not,
Yeah.
not really known for his scrambling all too much.
And we are pro big hits here on NB Radio. Yeah,
Absolutely.
We're
Oh,
pro
all
big
day.
hits until the final
I
whistle.
think we all grew up
We
watching.
love-
You got jacked up.
You
and
got
loving
jacked
it.
up. You know, we're big fans of big hits. Let's check out this big hit.
5 yards away. Thorne over the middle. And a huge hit. Incomplete pass.
Sticks the guy. That's how I grew up playing football, man.
Yeah.
You know, okay, I won't hit you in the head. I'm going to hit you where it hurts actually more. You know, when you get smoked, like you just don't feel it. You know what I mean? Like I've been knocked out on the field and I played sophomore football. I didn't even know. I hated getting tackled around the stomach area because and then you actually get the pads on
Knocks
skin.
the wind out of you.
Yeah.
It
That's
sucks.
an
There's
unpadded
a little,
area
there's a
right
little
there.
scrape there where the shoulder pad comes across your skin. Feels like road rash. You just grab it the whole game. You're thinking about it. You know, when I got knocked out, I just woke up smelling so, hey, what's up? Like, give me a cheeseburger.
Let's go.
You know what I mean? I'm fine. Like, I'm 17-year-old kid or whatever. You know, like I hated getting tackled like from the stomach below. Hated it, dude. Hated it.
Yeah, it's a lot more effective than you think because I played it up until like I was in the high school and I was a small kid. Like I was
Yeah.
like pretty much the smallest guy on the field.
Same here.
But I was a very sure tackler because I would always go like for the midsection and the legs. Like so, I'm always hitting you right
Gotta
here
wrap
in
up.
the stomach. So I hit you there, and then yeah, I'm putting my arms around you, and even if you don't go down from that hit,
Someone's
I
coming.
just I grab on and then I just fall down around your legs, and so now your legs are constricted.
Someone's coming. That's just form tackling
yeah.
right there.
I didn't have a ton of solo tackles, but very rarely did I miss one because you just
Getting the stats for that. That counts as a tackle.
Does count as
Counts
Gotta
as
go.
a tackle. We got to chalk it up in the win column, and
Yeah.
we don't count losses here.
No,
on
we do
NBR.
not. We do not.
You just dye our hair.
Yeah.
That's how we count our losses.
Follow through
here.
with a bet and you still win because you get there's no like Deion Sanders said a long time ago, there's no such thing as bad publicity, caveman.
That's right.
No,
That's
sir.
right. I'll be Orange Man for a little bit. I'm making
Now,
a TikTok.
Agent
right as we get
Orange
off
over
the air.
here.
This is an interesting top play because you very rarely see one of these injuries where guys just go down out of nowhere. Everybody's seen it. Whether you think you've seen it or not, it happens in every game where a guy just goes down. Very rarely do you see this penalized. I was shocked to
Yeah.
see this too. When I did see this play, I watched this live and I was like, I was like on the couch, like, oh wow, I can't believe they actually
Yeah, they
you
threw
know.
something.
So
Threw a
let's check
flag
out this
for it.
play because this is very interesting. And then we can talk about this after because there's probably going to be some implications from this.
Yeah.
If this happens in a big time SEC championship game or college football playoff game, going to be interesting to see how the coaches and the teams respond. Let's check this out.
And this is just it's a fake penalty. I mean, King Mac, number 5 at the top, goes in and then all of a sudden just goes down. I mean, that's a fake injury. I mean, he's not hurt. He goes down to save Alabama some time, but
Legal substitution. Defense. Left the field, re-entered.
After faking the injury, it's because he went off the field and then came back
back
in.
on.
Yeah, it
You
was
can't
real
do that.
substitution.
But
That injury thing was kind of where he just goes down.
Right.
You know,
and you're like, oh my, well, like guys, come on, like
I don't know.
I know there's not a rule against it, but like, can we have like some respect for ourselves and
He's
not
like, "What's up,
not
coach?
like
What's
just
up,
make it
coach?
so
Get injured? Okay.
so blatant." I don't know.
Tennessee Volunteers upset Alabama,
Yeah.
4-point home
got it
underdogs.
done.
Dude, to
Jimmy
me that
covers
wasn't
until the final whistle on TikTok.
to me
Game
that
off the
wasn't
play.
even really an upset. I think Tennessee is just as good.
4-point
Of,
home underdogs. That's pretty big upset.
well, I know like the line had them as underdogs, but to me, Tennessee's just as good as Alabama.
I
is.
think so. Yeah,
They have just as good of a
that's a
team.
good point.
So I'm like, I know they were out. They were like Vegas had them as the underdogs, but I was like, this is an evenly matched team on paper, and I was not at all surprised that Tennessee won it. Not at all.
No.
I was counting on them too.
I was kind of shocked to see Tennessee win outright. I can't lie. I kind of thought Alabama would win, and I kind of said this on social. I kind of thought Alabama would win by a field goal on one of those games that, like, Tennessee takes the lead. Alabama has enough time off for like a final drive to kick a game-winning 1-point field goal or something like that. You know,
I was pretty sure Tennessee was going to win it outright because Bama's looked bad these past few weeks.
Bama's defense has looked pretty good though, and I thought that
have they? I mean, they gave up 40 to Vanderbilt, and then
there's outliers. I don't know, like
nearly
you know,
blew a lead to South Carolina.
But all those players. I mean, that's a program up there too.
Yeah.
Like Dan Lanning, that's a program there, man. And like you just can't.
We're talking about Oregon now, buddy.
Who's the coach? He came from Oregon. Who's the coach there? No, who's that idiot? Washington. DeBoer, yeah, Kalen DeBoer. I don't know, man. I think Alabama still has a top program for sure. They definitely dropped a couple games, but it's like, man, dude, like they played so good. And I did think Alabama was going to win that game. I took Tennessee on the point spread. I wish I would have bet them
interesting
on the money line,
Bama note, actually. So this is the first time since 2007 that they're entering November with multiple losses. The last time that happened, it was Nick Saban's first
season.
So
coaching, yeah.
Is this a sign of what's to come with Kalen DeBoer?
See.
Is history repeating itself?
Did you see how many 5-star kids have already committed to Alabama next season? Stupid recruiting.
You get a close up on the orange hair. Here, let me stand up.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, people want to see it. Get them close to the camera there.
Yeah, that looks. Yeah.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
better in the back.
Oh, sorry.
Caveman, a lot of hair. A lot of hair.
If it's all in the back, then that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks much more orange.
It's
from
orange.
behind.
Yeah. There you go.
There it is.
That's a lot of hair. We probably need about 25 more cans of.
Well, and of course, the cheap ass dollar store hairspray.
Yeah, dollar store hairspray.
One of them's broken, so we didn't even get the full effect. But yeah, 2 full bottles there. He's just got a lot of hair, and it's very, very dark in general. So, you need probably a whole like another 4 cans to really get it bright orange. But it's still looking pretty good here.
I would have taken the whole stock from that Spirit Halloween last night. I went in there and I was looking through pretty much every bottle is like faulty because it is like the very cheap stuff.
Oh, with the Spirit Halloween. There it is.
Yeah. That's right. That's like the only place I could find it. I looked in Walmart for like 10 or so minutes, and they're like hairs in the Halloween section. They didn't have anything that was like washable. I was like, well, Spirit Halloween it is. We got to take the high road.
There you go. All right, Jimmy, what's our next top play?
We love defensive stops, and we
Yes,
love
do.
upsets. Maryland upsets USC on a defensive stand. Absolutely electric. Let's check it out.
Great call.
Fourth down. Marks dropped it! He dropped it! Caleb Wheatland forced him to drop the ball, and that'll do it. Maryland holds on 4th down.
In a game with absolutely no defense, 29-28. Going
Sometimes
over on the total.
The best time for defense to show up is at the very end. Of the game.
Baby.
Doesn't matter if you
always
play.
Happens too that way.
If you always play awful defense, you're right. These high scoring games, it's terrible defense until the very final drive, and then
game tightens
boom.
up. You know those
Somebody makes a
start
play.
puckering. Yep. Utah State. Shout out the Fighting Jordan Loves. Utah State. Insane interception. Do like this pick. Let's check it out.
Wysong in the backfield. Play action. Dampier down the field. Man's got a step. Is that picked off? What a play. DJ Graham, the second, with the interception.
Turns around, track the ball.
I might replay that. Watch this again. I'm gonna watch this again, boys. Is this a touchback or is he down at the 1 yard line?
Oh, good question.
Let's see.
High scoring game also. Interceptions at the end of the game. What were we just talking about?
Kills
Tough
you.
defense at the end. when a game is high scoring, 65 points being scored in that game. This interception, let us know. Is he down at the 1 or is this a touchback, you think?
Nice song in the backfield. Play action. Dampier down the field. Man's got a step. Is that picked up? What a play. DJ Graham, the second, with the interception.
Does look like he's down at the 1 there.
The ball didn't really cross the plane.
I think that knee hit down as he was dropping,
and the elbow.
Yeah,
1 yard
I don't
line.
know. It's like
Also, thanks Neil. Love the new do. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was definitely down at the 1.
I think at the 1. The
1
he
yard line by
tucked
Kyle.
it. He tucked it right
He
there.
tucked it, but like I think when I don't know, man. I kind of want to give that kid the touchback on that. That's just I don't want to penalize the defense for making a good play when that's kind of like by the time he really.
It's an NFL touchback.
It's an NFL touchback because he's not down.
Yeah.
But
college,
yeah.
I mean, the second you hit the ground, that's it.
And that's like, and I'm like, by the time he really had like from the slow-mo angle on that backside when you saw him, it's like, yeah, the elbow hit. But like by the time like his body came down, he was in the end zone. I don't know, man.
I'm sure there was a.
I don't want to penalize
the
kid. Yeah, I bet there probably was. Good pick by that kid though.
And I'm not even sure what the actual call was. They may have just called it a touchback.
They probably did.
I
don't know, but college is kind of crazy. I mean, these phantom refs, dude. There's some awful officiating in college football. We think it's bad in the NFL. They're like, oh, we can get anybody in here. No, you can't. College football officials, absolutely garbage. I mean, the Texas-Georgia incident is just incident enough to let you know these officials don't know what they're doing either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna move on to some NFL highlights of the week. Saquon Barkley. Did anybody doubt that Saquon was going to go back up to MetLife against his old Giants team?
He killed
and just run roughshot over that defense.
They booed him too.
They did boo him. And that's like, to me, bro, like you're just booing your organization. That's a failure of work.
Yeah.
You had an elite player that didn't, get his feet going really because of injuries and whatnot, but because of your bad team.
Look, Giants, you had two choices. You could have paid Saquon Barkley and moved on from Daniel Jones, or paid Daniel Jones and move on from Saquon Barkley.
Bingo.
Guess what you guys chose to do?
Right.
You chose to move on from Saquon. And now he scored the touchdown in your home stadium more recently than Daniel freaking Jones has.
Oh, that's brutal.
It's been almost 2 years since Daniel Jones has scored the touchdown in MetLife Stadium. Hey, I know he was hurt.
stat.
He was hurt for a lot of the last season, but I mean, it's week 7, week 8 now.
How do you not?
When are we going to get it?
touchdown
Like
at home?
score a TD at home?
Score a TD. Yeah.
Okay.
Score one
He
in
does
general.
have one touchdown at MetLife Stadium this year. It was just to the wrong team.
Yeah, it was
It
pick
was
six.
Andrew Van Ginkel.
Andrew Van Ginkel.
Had the receiving touchdown from Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Well, he
Well,
can throw it
Saquon
to
Barkley,
Andrew Van Ginkel.
huge truck stick, huge play. I mean, ran all over the New York Giants. He
Just-
could have had multiple touchdowns if it wasn't for Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts greed.
But let's check out this play by Saquon Barkley. Absolutely stud.
Off a win against Cleveland, and on third down, has to dump it off, and that is Barkley with a tough hit, and still fighting.
And just plowing over your defensive back. You're in a no-win situation. When you're that defensive back, you just got to eat that and just be like, yep, take my L, go to the sideline. Hey, boys, he got me. What can you do?
At least he
Can't do
tried
much.
to tackle him.
Right now, the Giants, they could have Saquon, Malik Neighbors. It might be Drew Lock throwing them the football, but at least Drew Lock's got an arm. He's a gunslinger.
something.
It'd at least be some entertainment value.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, Daniel Jones, it's like we've already talked. He can't throw the ball down the field.
It's the same crappy release.
Why couldn't the New York Giants have Malik Willis as their starting quarterback?
Why can't the Titans have him as their starting quarterback?
I mean, you move on from Daniel Jones, you got to look the veteran market because say with that 9th, because they were picking 9th in the draft where they got Neighbors, right? It was the 9th pick overall.
Yeah.
And do you move up? Probably. I mean, if you're the Giants, they probably do, but I never do. I would rather move back in the draft, honestly, than trade up in the draft. You just get more bang for your buck that way. And finding the same exact player, easily replaceable from the first round to the 5th round. really not a significant drop off in talent. It just matters what team you go to. And in the 5th round, I don't know, man. You can find a guy that can come in and be serviceable for you. Better than Daniel freaking Jones is.
Way better.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So like there's not like a huge talent discrepancy from the 5th round of the NFL draft as a rookie to Daniel Jones. You know, so it's like that should have been an easy decision.
Right.
I can't
I mean,
believe they showed that
even if you don't get a
on
rookie,
the NFL Hard Knocks or the Giants in the offseason Hard Knocks. They showed all of that with the owner. I don't know if you guys watched it or not. I watched every episode. I do these Hard Knock breakdowns because I love Hard Knocks. Dude, the freaking owner came into the GM's office and he said, you know, if we lose Saquon, I'm going to have a tough time dealing.
Yeah, I've seen that clip.
But that
yeah.
whole everybody's seen the clip on the internet. That conversation was more, he said, what are we doing with Daniel Jones? He's like, well, do you want to pay, you know, we pay Daniel Jones. We got to see what he has, you know, this, that, or whatever. And he's like, well, I don't think you pay Daniel Jones and then move on from his best asset. That's what the owner said. And I'm like, that's a great point. And they moved on from him still.
They paid Daniel Jones
still went against
after one successful season.
And I don't even think that season was successful.
No.
They got lucky to make the freaking playoffs anyway.
They got extremely lucky.
It wasn't like they looked dominant. They just were finding ways to win close games.
Yeah.
More so on their
and the
defense
Eagles and the Cowboys shit down their leg at the end of the year.
Yeah,
in that division.
Yeah.
And they only went to a wild card. They didn't
Eagles,
go in the division.
The Eagles and Cowboys pulled the Eagles and Cowboys.
Well, no, the
and
Eagles.
Giants
That
were
was the
able
year
to
the
sneak
Eagles
in.
went to the Super Bowl. But like, yeah, the Giants, they like stuck in there. And what was a good division? You beat the Vikings, who
I
are
think the Cowboys
historic.
had 5 wins that year. Dak got injured, I think.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, so you kind of sneak in with the injury there. You beat the Vikings, who are historic playoff chokers, and then you face the Eagles in round 2, and then they smacked you. That game wasn't ever close. And it's like, all right, well, this really just proved that like you're a team that's going to beat bad or average teams. You can do that, but like the second you get to a real, you're not a real contender.
Right.
You don't have a team to go up against real contenders, and that was painfully obvious.
It's like the Mac Jones
and they decided
first
to just
playoff run. They went to the wild card.
Yeah,
and they won 10 games with them. And that did not work out. That ship has sailed
long time ago with Bill Belichick.
It's over in Duval County.
So I mean, I would even just take, even if it was just Drew Lock or Tommy DeVito, who, with the way the Giants defense plays, I mean, you have probably the best like defensive line in the league with Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, really solid secondary linebacking core.
Solid secondary.
If you had Saquon Barkley there, you could probably run the ball, and you invested in your O-line. You could probably run the ball really well. And then you got, Malik Neighbors to throw the football to. As long as you have just like a decent quarterback back there that's just going to be a game manager, you can at least, be entertaining and like fun to watch for your fans.
14 of 21, 99 yards and nothing.
Yeah, and then instead you're paying Daniel Jones $160 million to get sacked like 9 times a game because the offensive line can't help them, and the run game is very inconsistent.
That is a lot of money for how bad that player is, but in terms of like quarterback contracts, kind of a team-friendly deal. Like they can move on from him now, and nothing would really hurt them long-term going forward with any part of their team. It's just you made the wrong decision about what player you keep and what player you ship off. You can lose Daniel Jones and be just fine. You can't lose a player like Saquon Barkley if he is healthy with now an offensive line that is decent.
Yeah, he can actually get out of the backfield.
Maybe Saquon would be able to flourish with an actual football team around him instead of relying on nothing and hoping Saquon Barkley just goes off every week and wins you a football game in New York. That clearly didn't work. But the decision to move, like how that decision and decision-making process happened, absolutely insane to me. And that's why teams, like, there's teams that are bad because their team is bad, and then there's teams that are bad because their organization is bad. New York Giants, a bad team because their organization
is bad.
Not give the players an opportunity to be successful.
Ever since Eli left, I mean, Eli really give
Tom
more,
Coughlin.
Yeah,
give
those guys
Bill
credit.
Parcells,
they elevated what was a really
there.
bad organization. They figured something out.
I don't want to hear no Mario Manningham disrespect. HG because
Oh,
Mario
dude,
Manningham
Mario Manningham
won
was
me some
nice.
freaking money, buddy.
He was
All right?
nice. All right.
Mario Manningham won your boy Jimmy Covers.
Oh, and those Victor Cruz era teams.
Victor
Ooh,
Cruz.
those-
Come on now.
Yeah.
A lot of
They-
fun.
They had a
Jeremy
three-headed
Shockey for a
rushing
little.
monster with Brandon Jacobs, and I forgot who the other two little.
Was it
quick back-
Ahmad Bradshaw there?
Ahmad
During that
Bradshaw,
time? Yeah.
good
Ahmad
memory. Thank you.
Bradshaw.
I've done a lot of alcohol and some vitamins in between there. But I know they had Brandon Jacobs, who was a load. They called it Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah.
With that three-headed running attack. And Eli Manning just got to drop back in play action and just slice and dice defenses, dude. That was awesome to watch. Beat the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers in 2007 against Brett Favre, and then 2012 against Aaron Rodgers to go to both Super Bowls to beat, drumroll please, Tom Brady.
Beat him
No big deal.
twice. You can't say
Let's-
you didn't have good teams over there as a Giants.
I mean,
Their
Like,
defense is
they're-
loaded. Justin Tuck. They always
Yeah.
had,
Jason Pierre-Paul
JPP.
going messing up stuff in the interior of the D line.
Webster was one of their defensive backs who was
Dude,
a
we gotta
demon
just-
at that time.
The NFC East, that was just Brady's kryptonite in the Super Bowl.
That's
Yeah.
it.
So,
It's in
I
the
mean,
Philadelphia
right now,
Eagles, yeah.
Philly.
we got to try to make sure either the Panthers either the Falcons or the Bucks make it to the Super Bowl this year, because so far Mahomes' only Super Bowl loss to an NFC South team. So
That's right.
is the
Oh,
NFC
look
South
at that. Look at that.
Mahomes' is kryptonite.
Look at
Come
that.
on, Spencer
Let's see.
Rattler. Just
We
kidding.
love punter and big hits, but I love the fact that we got a punter highlight.
Here
We got a
go.
96.
Shout
yard
out our
punt
boy
in here.
Chicken Little.
Shout out Chicken
Punters
Little.
are people too.
Punters, we are for the brand over here
That's right.
on
Let's go.
MBR.
I heard he's going to try out to be a kicker at Arizona State.
I like it.
I mean,
They're-
Oh yeah, they need it.
They need it.
They
The
need
coach
it.
was
I-
pissed.
Let's go Chicken Little, dude. I never met you, but shout out. You get the free shout out of the segment. Parker Washington, 96-yard punt. Let's watch it together.
The way inside his 5, and he catches it. Makes a beeline past the 20. He's got some open space. Past the 40. Get past the punter. Inside the 40. Parker Washington is going to go all the way for a touchdown as he does the Nest.
It was a punt return. I thought the coded messaging up here, I thought it was a 96-yard punt in total, which would have been insane. It is a punt return. For
Which is still insane. I mean, his special teams coordinator watching him field that ball inside the 5 was going, no.
Yeah,
Yes. Let's go. I
Yeah.
mean, that's you're breaking like the number one rule. If it's gonna land inside the 5, let it bounce.
And the Green Bay Packers this week, dude, we had 2 special teams blunders. Jaden Reed, he's standing at the 10-yard line. Ball goes over his head. He retreats back to the 1 to catch the football.
Yeah, he caught it.
That's pee-wee football. You put your feet at the 10. If it goes over your head, you let it go.
Yeah.
He caught it running backwards before he got in the end zone, so he can't
Yeah.
do a touchback. He had to run out of the end, and he's got gunners full speed
Full
already at
speed
him.
already at him.
Like Jaden Reed's fast, but you're not getting away from a guy
Yeah,
that's
it's bad.
already
And then we
ran
didn't.
the entirety of the
then
field.
freaking Nixon was too scared to run up and make a catch, and the ball bounces off one of his guys, and we turn the ball over inside the 10.
Hit off his leg.
Like
Yeah.
you gotta not
Poison,
only
poison,
not
poison.
Only,
Like, give a
exactly
call
whatever,
out.
whatever your
Peter,
bogey sign is,
poison,
to get away from the
whatever
football.
your word
He doesn't
is.
do that, and then he doesn't run up to catch the ball and field it, so it doesn't hit the ground, and it doesn't bounce off one of your guys. Absolute terrible special teams by the Green Bay.
Yeah.
Gotta call Peter on that one.
It's the forgotten phase of the game, man.
It is, dude.
Too many people undervalue how
It is.
important special teams is. I mean,
It
that
is.
a bad like a special teams play can just flip the course of a game so drastically. You gotta. It's important, man. It nearly cost the Packers, who offensively and defensively dominated the Texans.
Kind of dominated, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the special teams
some
mistakes.
squirrely moments in that game.
Yeah, special teams mistakes gave the Texans some easy possessions.
A light at
some
the end of the
short
tunnel
fields,
for
yeah.
the Texans for sure.
But-
But when you got a guy like Jordan Love who can just make up for, the blunders on special teams or one, turnover, and then the team gets ball in favorable territory, they score a touchdown pretty easy with Joe Mixon. When you got Jordan Love throwing the ball to Tucker Kraft like he did to
Dude, pure
yesterday.
gunslinger. That's the reason he has a
He's
lot of
more
picks
Brett-
too.
he's
Is
more
'cause
Brett Favre.
I was gonna say, like, people compare him to Rodgers, but he's more Brett Favre because he's
100%.
got a rocket of an arm.
rocket.
He's a little bit better than Brett Favre because he doesn't steal welfare money from the state of Mississippi. Not yet, at least. He's still got a way to go. But
Still got some time.
Bakersfield. Be on the lookout in about 25 years.
Keep an eye on Jordan Love. If he moves into your town, watch out. But yeah, no, I mean, like, so he's gonna fire the ball into some like questionable windows, and sometimes it comes in too hot. That's probably why they've had a lot of drop picks, is because like that ball comes in like a missile.
Oh yeah.
But here's the thing: is he'll make a throw that like 99% of other quarterbacks won't make.
What are you doing?
You're like that would never try to make. But then he can complete passes that 99% of other quarterbacks cannot make.
Whatever the Packers got going on up there in their scouting department, if I'm other NFL teams, I'm talking to whoever the hell is the lead scout for the Green Bay Packers and how they scout quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Because this freaking kid came from Utah. Brett Favre, tell me what college, Brett, obviously it's popular now because of his Mississippi, cheating scandal and all that. Southern Miss, Utah State, Cal Berkeley for Aaron Rodgers. Like, Cal Berkeley's a nobody program. Like, nobody goes there.
So that's where all the
it's just
smart
lawyers,
stoners go. To
lawyers and doctors,
get high
and
and
future business guys and everything.
It's your doctorate.
And then, but Utah State, buddy, with absolutely nobody up there, what are we doing? Yeah. And he just comes in the NFL. He sits for a couple of years, watches the game, and then you see him throw the football. Last year, it was at the beginning of the year, I was like, oh man, 50-50, what's going to happen? But I had never had that impending sense of doom with him. I was like, uh-oh. I never felt that. I'm like, okay, we got a little system here with LaFleur's play. LaFleur, an awesome play caller, can get kind of cute in some of his situations with some of his dumb handoffs, but still get an offense going in the right direction. I mean, when you got a guy like this, though, Tucker Kraft with his amazing touchdown catch next for our top play. Jordan, long preface to show this top play, but Jordan Love with an absolute, Mercury said it, rocket of an arm across the middle of the field.
This catch ain't too bad either.
Catch is pretty good by best tight end in the league.
As of right now,
I mean, just consistently, like who's
at least top
this
5
season? Yeah,
top 5 for sure.
For sure,
gotta be top 5.
I mean, I'm just trying to think about like who's been more consistent and played better at the tight end position.
I go Trey McBride.
McBride, he was
I would also say
Kittle hasn't been bad this season. Kittle's
one of the unheralded guys, Isaiah Likely, out of that Baltimore team.
Likely for sure. He
pretty good,
but he's been. I feel like he's been a little quieter the past few weeks.
Last
but yeah, he has.
Weeks, yeah.
He has been pretty good.
He's playing pretty good football.
So. I mean, he had a big catch.
Tight end's one of those positions where you're not going to go up every week,
Yeah, and it's the most inconsistent position, fantasy football wise, at least.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to think about the guys that have been more consistent. It has been Kraft. It's been Likely Bowers. I've got Kittle in the league. He's been fairly consistent.
Yeah,
he's always
had a decent game. He had a decent game.
He at least catches like a touchdown each week. I mean, he's only got.
Here's Love to the end zone. Diving catch. What a catch it is by Kraft for the score.
Fingered it before. Don't even worry about it. Looking good in those slick white unis.
I kind of want to.
I like it, man.
I dodged it at the beginning. I dodged it at the beginning of the show. I totally forgot about it, and Mercury just brings up like Mercury just like picked off a scab, dude. Like
you're crazy, man. I think those look clean.
I'm a Packers fan. I'm a Packers owner. I made a phone call to Mark Murphy. I'm like, buddy, what are we doing with these ugly ass white helmets, these ugly ass white jerseys, the home green and yellow, brother, the green and gold. Classic. You're just messing with football karma. You're messing with the juju of the team. I mean, it was bad luck, and it was like a superstition for guys not to wear white cleats in the NFL back in the day. Now you're wearing all this white uniform, white jerseys. You see the Jets wearing all white all the time. Has that ever been good? Nope. You see, I mean, I've seen the freaking Cincinnati Bengals do it. Never been good. They had those little white helmets last year with the black stripe. They got freaking blown out in them. You know what I mean? I just didn't like them, dude. And then the game wasn't even at nighttime where the white helmet with the little bit of yellow that was on the white jersey would have been popping under the lights with the fans as a whiteout. You would have had something there with.
I mean, I agree with you there. It would have been better.
It just diminished it. It just diminished it. And I'm like, the purpose of a white jersey is so it pops at nighttime. They didn't even do that. It accomplished nothing to me.
I
need to
just
watch this
I
play
love
again.
the all white unis
Yeah,
with
they always
like
look
where
good.
you sneak in a little bit of your primary colors, but it's primarily white with
like
like your primary colors like popping off the
You
sides.
like
I
it,
just
Caveman?
The
I
white
think it's
uniforms
clean.
look nice. Yeah,
They're clean,
I like
yeah.
them.
I mean,
I'm
like
old
think about
school.
I
I'm old, like all these kids now. Like I grew up in an era where like you didn't have this. You didn't have Oregon with their 47 color combinations. You didn't have like that's fine for the Carolina Panthers because you're new to Jacksonville Jaguars wearing those, whatever. Crap teams do that because they need a gimmick. Like their team is so bad, you better wear
Gotta
some cool.
have some
Dude,
cool
that's
uniforms.
why
Green Bay Packers. Like I don't know, man.
that's probably why
I
the
didn't like
Saints did Drew Brees'
No.
ring ceremony on Thursday night
Thursday
because they're
night
like, "There's no way.
There's
This is
no
a
way.
primetime game. We need to fill this stadium. People do not want to come watch us play the Denver Broncos."
That's brutal, dude.
That's
so they're
true,
like,
though,
"Well, we're
because
gonna get Drew Brees on the Ring of
We're
Honor."
gonna do it on
people will
Monday
show up.
night in Arrowhead. That's our only home primetime game. Is that one? So it's
Yeah.
got to be that game.
You got to make sure that that's actually getting,
Yeah.
that the seats are getting filled. Because I guarantee
In
you,
those uniforms, you saw us. We didn't even have our helmets match the.
No.
We wore throwback uniforms with our current
We're
helmets.
current helmet.
So the fucking gold didn't even match.
Yeah.
Sorry, Stokely, but the
Yeah.
colors didn't
We're
even
sorry,
match on our
Stoke. We're
uniforms.
sorry.
Don't sue us, Stokely.
That's
We're
why
sorry.
we lost 33-10, man.
Yeah.
it was real cool of Sean Payton to do the city of New Orleans one more favor and get Dennis Allen fired by.
No, our
embarrassing him
defense
prime
is
team.
trying to get him fired.
great.
You saw that terrible tackling. There was absolute.
Bad,
They're
dude.
trying to get Dennis Allen fired
It's bad.
because
You know
the
what?
games we lost, other than that one and against the Bucks, we lost them close.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
lost games we shouldn't have lost.
Yeah.
Other
You
than,
came back and you fought. I mean, I was giving you live updates. I think you were working when I was at B-Dubs watching the game. I was like, oh, it's 21-0 Buccaneers. Like, it's over, And then all of it's like
27-21.
27-20. I'm like, we got a freaking ball game here, boys. Like, let's go.
like they randomly just start playing like they should, and then I don't know. They're really trying to get Dennis Allen fired or something, man.
He's
His
definitely
I'm
on the
sorry,
hot
boys.
seat.
I got to see this top play one more time.
Yeah,
from
we kind
Jordan
of
Love.
we didn't really break
I
it down
didn't
the
even-
proper way.
and
We
I-
got
and I
we got
totally
caught up
missed
on
it.
the unis.
Yeah.
We
You're gonna
did.
piss
We
me
Hey,
off,
did.
but
Mercury.
let's hear from the people. Do you guys like
Yeah,
the
dude,
all
I
white
like-
Yeah,
Packers?
Kyle, did you like the all white jerseys? That
Who's
the,
a fan
Packers-
fan of the
the
all white
Packers? I
unis?
didn't like them, but I do want to check out because I didn't see it. I watched it live, obviously, but I just want to watch this play one more time because, yeah, dude, Tucker Kraft in this catch with a freaking hose from Jordan Love, fitting it across 3 guys in the middle of the freaking end zone. Not a good throw, dangerous throw, an interception worthy throw. Doesn't get picked, goes for a touchdown. Probably the difference in that ball game.
Here's Love to the end zone. Diving catch. What a catch it is by Kraft for the score.
When that ball was coming across, he just missed.
Yeah, I don't know if that
knocking
was
that ball.
Petrie or another safety,
I think it
but
was
somebody
Petrie.
was flying through.
And that's one of these throws where it's like there
Boomer bust.
aren't many guys that have the arm
strength.
strength that can throw it like
Just lays
Jordan
it
Love
out
did
in
there. Like 99% of the time that ball at least gets deflected by a defender, probably picked off because they just can't
Yeah.
throw it with the zip that Jordan Love, put on that. And then to back to that Tucker Kraft point, I mean, if Jordan Love threw that to 95% of other NFL tight ends, they probably drop that ball because I mean you're diving down, sliding. You got to catch an absolute rocket with just your hands,
That's a good point.
the snag it. I know his hands were burning after that.
5th round
Stinging.
draft pick. Drum roll, please. South Dakota State Jackrabbits.
There you go.
Shout out
Tucker
Jackrabbits.
Kraft, baby.
Jameer Gibbs, high scoring game, Minnesota versus Detroit. Jameer Gibbs, absolute weapon. I don't know, like small body frame. He gets the ball a lot. To me, he reminds me of like Javid Best that the Detroit Lions used to have back in the day. He reminds me of like a little poor man's person of like Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush is a little bit bigger than Jameer Gibbs. Jameer Gibbs, absolutely electric athlete.
I think they have a great combo with him.
They
and
do.
Montgomery.
They got
Sonic
good
and Knuckles,
power.
Yeah,
Good
I've seen that
power,
they-
good speed.
rhythm and
Power,
bruise.
yeah,
Like
rhythm and bruise. Yeah,
you can. It's a combination of power and speed. Like Montgomery's going to beat you down, and then all here comes Gibbs in space. Like,
I am.
and you see when
worried.
he gets the ball in space, deadly.
I am
Deadly.
worried in the playoffs when that game is played in a box and you can throw athletes out the window. So I've seen it every year since '95. In the playoffs, the end of the season in December, these games get tighter. Those weapons become a little less weaponized when the game becomes smaller and played inside the line of scrimmage.
Do you think he had a bad playoffs last year when they went to the NFC Championship?
Yeah, because he didn't win.
Well, yeah,
I mean, like, so if you're not helping your team win the biggest games, I don't care about stats. Like there's just players that when people, like, the announcers will say it on TV, they're like, this defense travels, this running game travels. Like, does that, they're a dome team. Is that, like, they got lucky they played a team like warm weather. Is that going to go on the road and, like, say maybe like the Detroit Lions and Green Bay Packers play in the NFC Championship this year? Is he going to go out and do that in Lambeau where it's possibly 5 degrees outside?
That's a good point.
You know what I mean?
I do see
and
what you're saying.
The game tightens up. Now, you can get free and loose on a play, but, like, sustaining 4 quarters in the playoffs, you can get a play, you can get free. Yep. You can get big explosive plays. Every team has it. Happens all the time in the playoffs. I'm not saying that, but, like, sustaining, it's not just, the Lions aren't playing just for this season. Just like last year, like, I've seen flashes in the pan from Megatron, from all, Randy Moss, and then just, like, out of nowhere, oh my gosh, this is an amazing player. And then just like that, the lights get turned off, and then there's nothing else to sustain it. There's just needs to be something more from Jahmyr Gibbs. He's not anything I haven't seen before in terms of talent-wise, like, electric player, absolutely explosive in space. I'm not knocking him as a player. The team fit, traveling on the road in the playoffs, even at home on the playoffs, when that game gets tighter, they're going to scheme him now. He's on the field. Is he going to pass pro? Now, if he's in pass pro, if he's on the field, he's in the offset.
I don't think
the
that.
shotgun.
I think if he's
I'm
on
going
the
to blitz
field,
him, because now I'm forcing you to not. You can't run a route now.
Yeah, that's true.
Now you can't run the ball. Now you have to pick up a blitz in a double A gap formation, and you got, a linebacker coming down on you, or you have to pick him up. If he's on the field, just like Kyle Pitts at the tight end position, there's these guys now. When the game gets tighter, I'm just going to, I don't care what you're going to do on offense. I don't care about how far you can throw the ball. I don't care about the style, knuckles and all that. If he's on the field, I won't blitz with David Montgomery because you're going to have him in there for pass pro. Now I know if he's in there and you're not in a running situation, you're definitely throwing the football. Now you're definitely throwing the football because he's not going out for a route because you don't have Jahmyr Gibbs there, which that's your weapon out of the backfield receiving, right? Now I know you're throwing. Now I'm not going to blitz you. Now I'm going to show blitz, and then I'm going to drop out in zone coverage, make you start thinking, and then that's when you can take advantage of Jared Goff always shitting down his leg in clutch time because he's used to playing in a certain style of offense, doing the same similar things over and over and over. Playoffs, you throw that monkey wrench in there, you get a turnover, and you lose just like they did last year. Also it doesn't help that their head coach, Dan Campbell, did not help their team at all at the end of the game situation in the playoffs. But I don't know. Jahmyr Gibbs, great player, great juke, absolutely stud player if you're fantasy betting, elite level athlete, top 5 running back probably right now in the NFL.
Yeah,
I'd probably say
that. Yeah,
I'd probably say that with his explosiveness and fantasy numbers and all that. Betting, I mean, you love the guy. He's hitting all of his numbers.
I mean,
bigger picture though.
Offensively, though, the Lions are a very complete team. Ben Johnson's a great coordinator.
Yeah.
Look, and the thing is just the style that they played just stopped working for them at a bad time. That's the reason they got to the NFC Championship, was going for it on 4th down, running the ball down team's throat. Yeah, being aggressive. And then it stopped working for them at the wrong time. But they didn't abandon their identity. They're still playing that way this year. I mean, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. The combination.
I think they will. They're a top 4 team in the NFC.
Oh yeah. Well, and I mean, when you have an offensive line that's just that good, like, there are a lot of good defenses, but I mean, those guys just are bruisers. They're maulers. It's going to be tough even when you are blitzing. And then, like, the different formations with their tight ends that they can bring in. They've got good blocking tight ends. Laporta hasn't been making an impact in the receiving game, but I mean, he's out there. He's getting blocks. You got Brock Wright in there, who's always been historically more of a blocking tight end. And they just got, and the way you can have 2 backs that just won't wear down throughout the game, that can wear down on the defense. They'll be tough to stop.
Gibbs does wear down. He goes off the field for a long time.
But they got Montgomery, who doesn't wear down as easily. So,
but then that's what I mean. Like, that's when end of the season. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, oh, okay. Like,
So it's
all
I
we
mean-
got to do
pick
is just
up
wait
on
for this.
I know you like
I
to
don't
tear
care
down
what you
people
say.
that aren't the Packers, Jimmy. But if
No,
we're
I mean,
going,
but
if
the
we're going to
Packers suck
Green,
too.
if
It's
we're
like,
going to Green Bay,
I don't even like Green Bay. Like, I
Yeah.
don't think we're good. You know what I mean? But like, we beat them last year in Thanksgiving and made Gibbs look regular. Montgomery looks regular. Like, teams that are familiar opponents, I don't know, man. Like, the Lions to me are like one of those awesome teams because like they've never been this good.
I know.
If
That's exciting.
if they've sort of like had this like maintained level of success, this team wouldn't even be good. It wouldn't even be talked about as like one of the best teams in Detroit Lions history. You know, I mean, their defense is awful, so we can't even talk about that.
They've been getting better though.
You know, their secondary is garbage, and when they play a legitimate offense, I don't know, they're going to give up 40 again, just like they were last year. I mean, didn't they like give up? I think they. What was it? No, it was probably a couple years ago. It doesn't matter. It's long past due. But the Detroit Lions, like they're going to be just out of the numbers in the NFC. I think they're probably a top 4 team right now. But like they're playing for something bigger. Now, what happens next year? Say they lose again in the NFC Championship, right? Players want to get paid. Are they going to keep everybody? Who gets selfish? Is Amon-Ra going to want a bag? Probably. You know,
Didn't he already get paid? I'm pretty sure he already
a
did.
few years ago, but he's up for a new deal soon.
No, I think he got paid like this offseason.
This offseason?
Because
You
he
know,
was
or
on like the end of his rookie deal.
Okay, Goff. Now you're talking maybe one of their offensive linemen.
Goff
You know,
is gonna be an
Goff
expensive
takes a
team.
team-friendly deal for sure because they've given
They
him,
have, yes,
they've
yeah.
given him so much.
They really
As
revitalized his
their-
career.
And is this team going to be the same when Ben Johnson leaves to be head coach somewhere?
I'm
He
sure
stops
there'll be
making
a-
Dan
true,
Campbell
true.
look like a, you
Might
know,
be a drop
the
off.
sustainment. Like you, I need to see some turnover. That guy stay there and then keep that same level where you're still a top 5 team in your conference.
Yeah. But I mean, have we really ever seen that from like sustained championship level football from any team besides like the Patriots,
Chiefs,
and then the Chiefs recently?
You know, the Packers are
Packers.
up there.
That
You know,
was
the
that was
Niners
like
are always up.
that was like
there.
in the '60s, though, Jimmy. Like, come on, like
You know.
Favre only got 1 Super Bowl.
But,
Rodgers
like,
only got
they're
1
always
Super
making
one.
the playoffs and
Yeah.
winning a playoff
And
game.
then
You're
cho-
gonna give
choking
yourself,
in big moments.
You're
though.
gonna, but you're still giving yourself an opportunity to win. Like that's all I want. Like, you know, like the Lions are good now, but like 3-4 years from now, are you still going to the playoffs and being a threat in the play? Because it doesn't matter. Like if you like, it's hard to win a Super Bowl. Are you going to maintain that same level of success when there's a lot of turnover? You know, when the games are tough and you've already shown that you're going to choke in a big game. Is Dan Campbell a Super Bowl winning head coach? That's a question. Is Jared Goff going to get you over the hump? That's a question. Is your defense with that secondary going to win a big game on the road and then win that game? And then guess what? Have to come back and do it again next season with the turnover. That's just what I mean. Like
Well, I
right
think you
now,
could-
it's fine. It's awesome. And it's a flash in the pan. Detroit's never seen it. Congratulations, Detroit Lions fans.
You can
have
make
to
that
be
argument
loving
for
it.
all the teams
You could
though,
back
right
that
now
for
because
basically everybody.
It is
Totally.
up for grabs right now.
Yeah.
Nobody really has no one's really for sure
Totally.
a winner in any conference or any division.
I mean,
You
The
can really
Eagles
say
have
that
gone
for any
back. You know, the Eagles have went to a Super Bowl and then also gone back to the playoffs. Like, so that's maintaining. You know, I don't know. They've lost coaches, lost players. No big deal. We lose them, bring in new ones. Is that going to happen with the Lions?
I think if you win,
With
if
an
you keep
owner
winning,
who's
if
as
you keep
cheap as there
winning,
is
yeah.
with-
Well, I don't know if you. I mean,
Yeah.
the way she really like changed the culture, and they were about patience and
Yeah.
development. So I do think this is a good sign for Detroit that there's been a massive like organizational change to where they're about development. They're about, they're establishing a good culture and bringing in the right people.
Yeah.
And not
There is a
not being
culture. There-
cheapstakes. Like
it is a good culture.
it seems like it's really shifted, And now
I
you've
do
got the
think that.
fans rallying behind that, and it's
Yeah.
it's a big thing for them there. So
Which
again,
which they've done with
only-
Matt Stafford and Megatron. They
Yeah.
told me that their culture changed too. Then
I mean, only time will tell, but we'll see. I mean, like just
I do like the Lions.
the
in
way
the
they
NFC, though.
they turned in like what was supposed to be just like a run of the mill team. Like a wild card, maybe they win a game type of squad. That was
especially when they were trashing
Yeah.
Jared Goff when he first got.
I mean,
oh, is this
like go the last season. You're like, well, the Lions, they could be fun. They might make a wild card, win a
I
game.
thought they were
and
one
then-
of the they were one of the favorites to win the Super Bowl last year.
No, they weren't.
They were at least 5-1. I mean, they were a favorite
Dang.
to win the NFC North. So why
Were
wouldn't they be
they?
one of the favorites to? They were the favorite to win.
Well, that was just because there was nobody there.
Yeah,
you know.
But
that was their
did.
division,
and
for
they
the
just showed a
Patriots
lot
last
of
year.
you had Jordan Love doing his rookie season.
Yeah.
The Vikings with Kirk Cousins were probably there. The Bears were just,
No, the Bears
nobody was giving
It was
them
theirs
the
for
time
the
of day.
last year.
The Bears are in the boat that the Lions were in, 7 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like to me, it's just like there's levels. Like I just don't get caught up in like I just really don't. Just because I've seen so many teams come from out of like left field and like win, and then like even when the Chiefs got Patrick Mahomes, like I remember fans clowning it, and I'm like, well, this is better than what they've had. And if this guy's is decent, they're going to probably be in the playoffs, which is what happened. Then they lose in the Super Bowl to Tom Brady. They've already won a Super Bowl. They've gone back. Multiple players have turned over. Multiple coaches have left. No big deal. Keep on rolling.
Yeah.
Like,
There
is
might be
that
dark
gonna
forces
happen?
at work there, though.
Yeah,
no doubt. Yeah. The
Some-
Patriots had it. The Colts
Some
had
shadiness.
it. The Steelers for a long time when they had those defenses with Ben
Yeah.
Roethlisberger, they had it. Baltimore with Joe Flacco. Like there's just so many teams. Like just show me you're going to maintain, a drop off. I don't even care if you win the division, honestly, because I've seen my teams won a Super Bowl without winning a division. Like the Packers won a Super Bowl in 2010. We didn't win the division. When Brett Favre won the Super Bowl in 96, we didn't win the division. Minnesota Vikings did. They just got upset in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, we've won. Eli Manning's won both of his Super Bowls as a 7th seed. Where
Sixth seed.
6th seed, whatever
Yeah.
it was back then. So it doesn't matter. Just get to the playoffs, get on the bus. And if you're on the bus, you have a chance to be the driver. That's my thing. And it's like when there starts to become that turnover in Detroit, we've seen it in Philly. They were able to maintain no big deal. They haven't gone back to the Super Bowl, but that's hard. Like Super Bowl is like you need some like dark forces at work. Something needs to happen. It's kind of crazy, to make back-to-back Super Bowls. But at the same time, like, give me the NFC Championship game. Show me you're going to win a playoff game.
Well, at this point,
keep
they
it
just have to
going.
show it because like last year was like the first time they've been in the playoffs. They didn't make the playoffs the year before.
Right.
So now it's kind of just too early to really tell if they're going to be chokers.
That's
or
why
not.
I
Because
pumped the brakes on 'em.
they did have only one season.
Right.
First home playoff game in however many decades.
Right.
Yeah.
And when Ben Johnson leaves and there's the turnover, there's the change. Is that going to maintain? Like, that's my thing.
If Ben Johnson even leaves, because there's a lot of guys.
That's a good
Spagnuolo could be a head coach
That's a good
running
coach.
that crazy ass defense in the Chiefs. He could be a
You
head
think
coach.
you think he could be a head coach again? Because he was bad.
I
when
think
he was a head coach.
if he's getting a good defensive system like he's got, like you could just run your offense
I mean,
like the
if he
Chiefs
goes
do.
to a team with a good defense.
Yeah, if he goes to a
that's-
team with a
who's
solid
gonna-
defense.
I mean, that's hard though. I mean, because most teams that have a solid defense, they're not getting rid of they're probably not going to have a head coaching vacancy. So like I don't know. That's it.
I'm
Like,
just
can
trying
he
to think
take a
bad
team? Like,
teams that
I want a
have
head
good
coach to like take a
defense.
team from like who's not a player. Like, I kind of respect Dan Campbell. I mean, he's also kind of wishy-washy. He doesn't really do much. He doesn't call defensive plays. He doesn't call offensive plays. He's sort of like a Mike Tomlin.
Maybe he'll go
CEO
the
type.
Eric Bieniemy route and just go to a bad team to be their coordinator.
Yeah.
Try to turn that around.
Dude, honestly,
didn't
if
really
it goes
work out for
south for the
Bieniemy.
Bears,
No.
Ben Johnson in Chicago, then who's going to know the insides and outs of that Detroit Lions offense? You know what I mean? So like, I don't know, like that team for years and years and years, like they've had some like even when they were bad, like they've had good players. They've had like guys like
They
scoring
cut some
points.
good careers short.
100. I mean, this is a team that had Ndamukong freaking Suh playing at a Hall of Fame level on I mean, their defense was the strength of that team, and they had Megatron and prime Matt Stafford. And you talked about their defense more than people talked about their offense. And that team was scoring points on anybody. Still never won a division. Still
Never really won a playoff
I think
game.
they won one playoff game.
No, because that was their
They didn't as a
streak that
wild card?
the streak that they broke in the last playoffs was a playoff win. They hadn't had one since the 91
90s,
season.
that's right. Yeah,
they had
lost to
made the
Cowboys.
playoffs, but they just always
I thought
lost
they
their first
beat
game.
the Cowboys on a crazy like bat out of the end zone, but I guess I could have been mistaken. I could
Dude,
have.
that was
I think Dak Prescott.
that was
might have-
the Seahawks that did that. I'm pretty
this-
sure.
Was it that the Seahawks?
Yeah, because it was like Cam Chancellor batted the ball out of the back.
Batted
of
the
end
ball
zone.
out of the back of the end
And
zone.
everyone
That
was, or
kinda
no, it wasn't
crazy.
Cam Chancellor. It was like KJ Wright. Everyone was like, "Whoa, you can't do that!" Like,
You can't do that. Yeah, you definitely can't do. I thought that was the Lions, and that kind of screwed them out of the playoff win. I think. I don't know. I don't remember. But yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting. I do think the Lions are a top 4 team in the NFC. I think they are one of the top 2 seeds, in the NFC. It's just going to be an interesting, and that was a great conversation, guys. I loved it because like it just brings up. I like bringing up those questions like that. Like, all right, like, is this team like good now because of just like right now, like, or can like. Because NFL is wild, bro. Like
I wasn't even really talking about longevity. I just think this is the best window for the
100%
Lions to do something. You've got tons of talent offensively. Your run game is lethal. I mean, and you have like probably the best O-line in the league, an amazing offensive coordinator. You've got the talent right now, and so I wasn't even thinking about longevity. It's always so hard to tell. There's so much turnover, and very few teams really maintain success for a long time. It's often
teams that do though.
It's a lot of waves.
A lot of teams that do.
Well, I'm talking about like champion.
Making the playoffs.
I'm talking about like
and
championship
losing
success.
is like one thing.
Yeah,
but because like any team could just make the playoffs.
Because I mean, like the Bills these past 2 years,
but then go back like.
Yeah,
I think the Bills have maintained for a while.
Yeah, but they continue.
They lose.
How many rings do they have?
See,
and here's the thing.
Well, then the Lions are making it, so then the Lions would be.
You can go to the playoffs year after year after year, but if you just keep losing, I mean, at some point you're like, what's the point? Okay, clearly we can't get it done when it matters the most. We keep hitting the same roadblock. Like, is that really success, or is that you're just able to fake it until
it's regular season success?
I mean,
regular season success because you're putting yourself into a position to win winning any game in the NFL is hard. Just scoring a touchdown in the NFL is hard.
Very difficult.
Like, come on,
not easy. But like, if you win a playoff game and you're giving, to me, that's like setting yourself up. If you're going to go to a playoff game, like a division, and you're going to make a divisional game and you win to go to the NFC or AFC championship game, you're in the Final Four. That's all. Like, that's it. You know what I mean? Like, if you can make a Final Four, like we laud that's the way I look at it. Like, if you're a Final Four team, bro, you're elite. Like, and then you go back and then you do it again. Like, I saw Aaron Rodgers. I'm like, he lost, yeah, granted, but like, how many NFC championship games did Aaron Rodgers make? Like, I knew I was year after year, no matter what the losses were, no matter what, you're gonna be in it. And it doesn't really like after that. Like, yeah, no, could have, would have, should have at that point, but like, go back and do it again. Okay, you lost your guy, no big deal. Guess what? Go back and do it again. There's so many teams that do it where it's like, I don't know, like, to me, that's just like that's what I look for. Like, are you going to be able to do it again? Like, I'm already past this year. I'm already on to like next. I don't even give a shit about the rest of the regular season for the Green Bay Packers because I'm already in the postseason and I already know it. So it's like, I don't care. Like, we went on a 5-game losing streak last season.
Well, I would be careful. I mean, the Eagles started 10-1. Everyone's like, oh, they might go back to the Super Bowl. And then we saw how their season ended.
They still made a playoff game?
They did.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
Then
like,
they got
that's a lot of football. That's a lot of football, dude. That's a lot of football going back to back. You're playing all those games. You got to come back the next season, same pressure, start off. That's hard, man. It's hard.
Again, granted, this was the Broncos, but they under Josh McDaniels, people forget they started 6-0.
Won a playoff game with Tim Tebow.
They beat the no, they didn't make the playoffs because they finished 2-6 in their final. Or they finished 2-8.
What was that touchdown pass against the Steelers? That wasn't a playoff game?
That wasn't with Josh McDaniels. That we started 6-0 with Kyle Orton as our quarterback.
Yeah,
we upset the Patriots like week 4 or something.
Week 4.
Everyone, we're riding high. We're like, oh, we beat Bill Belichick and Brady.
Yeah,
and then 6-0 going into the bye week, 2-8 coming out of it. When 8-8 missed the playoffs.
Interesting.
And then Josh McDaniels.
I thought Josh McDaniels was a coach for that Tim Tebow.
No, that was I want to say that was John Fox. I think because then like the year after, like
he left and went to Chicago, I think.
Yeah, but John Fox was there. He was there like a year before Manning got there.
I thought he had Manning that 1 year when you guys.
He did. He had them like 20.
And
was it 11 or 12 when Manning finally got there?
And then you guys played the Baltimore Ravens and got
the Mile High Miracle. We didn't get blown out. It was like a Joe Flacco completed like a crazy deep pass like that, just barely got over the outstretched hand of, I believe it was Darian Stewart. Just missed it. And they were like calling it like the Mile High Miracle. Like he completed like a Hail Mary. And it was like, I mean, that was just kind of
there was a lot of
that was just kind of a blown call.
game. It was like,
right. Well, then everyone's like, everyone's like, oh, there's Peyton Manning, can he play in cold weather? That's a question. I'm like, Peyton Manning put up like 35 points.
Yeah.
Right. The defense gave up 38. Like Peyton Manning didn't let Joe Flacco throw for over 400 yards and 4 touchdowns.
He unfortunately has to sit on the sideline and watch that happen.
Right.
Yeah.
He's
and
not
I've
really
seen Manning
able to
play in New England in bad games and play just fine. I think that's something
He was
that,
making
that
the
gets
playoffs
created.
before he got to Denver. That was like that was a really weird like narrative.
There
for them to
wasn't it
make
because
there.
it was a dome team, dude. Like they would go outside, and there was AFC Championship games in New England where Dallas Clark did absolutely nothing. He got shut down by Teddy Bruschi, and his offense just kind of looked regular, no running game really. So it's kind of like, and they're awful. I don't think the Colts really ever gave Peyton Manning a top defense.
No,
like they had a couple guys like Bobby Sanders, whatever,
Dwight Freeney there for a while. He was a beast.
and Mathis on the other side. So they had 2 pass rushers, but they weren't stopping their run.
The Colts got into a lot of shootouts.
They did.
Bro.
They were relying on
and then
they
it
were
was like
relying
you
on
would
Sheriff
because
out
I mean like
Yeah.
they would play these Ravens teams too, and those were always dogfights. Like because the Ravens just had like such an average to bad offense most of the time, but they had Ray Lewis
Top
and Ed Reed and
defense.
those like nasty defenses that they had that just had you in a
Right.
dog fight
Yeah,
that
dude.
whole
The
game.
Steelers in that division
Yeah.
too had, I mean, like that's my thing, man. Like, like they went from that, like the Baltimore Ravens, quick turnaround, no big deal, keep it moving. Back with Lamar, back with this, we got this. Okay, we'll adjust, knock the rust off. Okay, a couple adjustment years, no big deal, we're in it.
And that's still on
Like
coaching,
maintaining,
though. They have Lamar Jackson, and they're still like committed to a full-on running game.
Right.
Even without Derrick Henry, they were
Well,
committed to
They've
be a
lost
running offense.
They've lost multiple GMs, bringing a new guy, no big deal. How you
That-
doing? Keep it moving.
That's a running team, and that defense and AFC North defenses are just that's what they do.
That's
They
what they do.
swarm the ball. They're
Yeah.
all making the tackle.
Look at the Steelers. They still get Minka Fitzpatrick, TJ Watt.
That's
Kinda
that's
Don't sleep on
that's
Alex
easy to
Highsmith,
have longevity.
freaking
Joey Porter.
love
The Beanie
Alex
Bishop,
Highsmith.
undrafted
Love Alex
free
Highsmith,
agent,
dude.
2 picks last night
Love that
against
guy. Yeah.
against Aaron Rodgers. Like,
Aaron
how'd you
Rodgers,
find
dude.
this guy? Like,
Aaron Rodgers. Oh, Aaron Rodgers.
yeah,
Oh, man.
It's just coaching there because like guys leave. The defense coordinator left Baltimore, and you're not really seeing that much
Wink
of a
Martindale.
change.
Right,
They
no.
had a
Well,
slow. They
you
had a
went-
slower
organization.
start.
you lost
Organization.
Wink. You went to Brian McDonald, or
Yeah, Brian.
he's
He's the
Seahawks coach
Seahawks
now.
coach,
Seahawks
Mike
coach now.
McDaniel.
Mike McDaniel, Mike McDonald. I
Mike
think is-
McDonald.
yeah, we're getting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of McDonald,
Yeah, there's a lot of
McDaniel
There's a lot of
guys.
Micks
yeah,
and
there's
Mikes
a-
and yeah.
What are we doing in
They
it?
get mixed
Make
up
it easy. How about a Joe Smith in there for
Yeah,
make it easy?
something, dude.
for real, bro.
Ben Johnson's
Or-
about as basic and bland as it gets.
Or it's just like so like crazy and unique that like there can only be like one of these guys,
yeah,
Like I'm drawing a blank, but I'm sure there's somebody out
There's-
there
or
with
they're
a,
not good. I think like the weirder the name you have, like the better player you might be, or coordinator.
that's true.
I don't know.
Haha, Clinton Dix.
Yeah,
Shout out him.
Shout out and Ndamukong Suh.
Dominican Sue.
Jason Pierre-Paul.
Solid player.
It's like
right there.
I don't know.
Elvis Doomerville. Like,
Alex
Alex-
Smith. Oh my gosh, yeah, where your legs in a snap and your
There's a
career's over.
million
There's
Alex Smiths on
there's
the
a
planet,
million, I don't know, but we're gonna break it all down until the final whistle. We still have a few more plays.
Right,
We got off on a tangent.
We
And that's
got
okay,
into
'cause,
it.
dude. I love that. To me, that's like the best content to create. Like when you can start a conversation like that and like how people view. That's what I love
What do
about
you?
the NFL.
Yeah,
That's-
let's
I
let
love
the
that stuff.
people
That's my
listening
favorite thing.
Sure.
get
It
in on
really
this. What do you
Viewers
view
in
as
it.
like
Yeah.
success? I mean, is just making the playoffs year after year enough, or do you want to see some championships, or at least make like
At least one, and then just make
Yeah,
it again.
make
what
it,
I
you
mean?
know.
Like,
because
what have the Niners done since the 90s?
It's very
to me,
true.
that's one of the teams that maintain. They just know how to draft, develop. Yeah, there's going to be some down years. The Packers have gone 6-10 with some guys. Aaron Rodgers had an NFC Championship team in 2007, inherited a championship team, and then won 6 games. No big deal. How you doing? Keep it moving. Okay, a few years later. To me, it's like, like what, Caveman and HG said, like, yeah, just making the playoffs okay. To me, if you can get one and then just make it and just give yourself a realistic opportunity. Like, does Houston have a realistic opportunity to come out of the AFC this year?
I don't think
With-
so.
So, like-
Well,
With
I've
health,
seen
yeah.
Then that
if they can stay healthy, maybe. But yeah, like I mean, not being able to really like adjust and like you you struggle without your top guys there is not.
But by all
Not a
means,
great
throughout the
sign.
media, they're looked at as a pawn.
Yeah.
Like one of those teams that are, and I'm like, what have they? I just don't see it. Like, especially when I've seen, CJ Stroud. Okay, like all this, like, yeah, you didn't have Nico Collins, but I'm like, I thought he was going to shred my defense.
I mean,
our rushing attack is not good.
Patrick
against the run.
Mahomes hasn't had Rashid Rice since like week 4, and they're still 6 now.
problem.
Yeah.
I mean, not really through the play of Patrick Mahomes, if
Like,
we're being
I
honest.
think
But still, I
everybody
mean, like
watching right now, Cincinnati Bengals,
defensive play.
dangerous,
Mhm.
dangerous. So like they've been to a Super Bowl, they've lost. A little bit of a drop off, injuries that happens. I'm not. You
they
can't.
still
you
made the
can't, but
postseason. And then they nearly made it with a backup
with
quarterback.
a backup quarterback. So like
in the
I don't
best,
know,
and
like,
that was in the best division in football.
best
No
division
team,
of football.
no team in the AFC North had a losing record last
Absolutely.
season. So I mean, like that.
They all made
When-
the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, when that's what you got to complete.
All 4 of them.
No, the Bengals just missed out
The Bengals just missed. So
because they were 9-8.
Steelers,
There was like one
Browns,
other 10-17.
10 wins is going to have to come, and I think
I think
reverse
that's
effect with the NFC North this year.
yeah.
From the AFC last year, where you're going to get, I think that odd man out's probably going to be Chicago with the way that the Vikings have started and the Lions.
Although-
And I do think the Lions are a top 4 team. I just don't view them yet on the level of being one of those
What worries
successful
me-
teams that you can put on that level with Niners, Chiefs,
Yeah.
Bengal. I
Also,
don't know.
what worries me with the Vikings is like, all right, they were getting overlooked. McCarthy's gone. It's nobody believed in Sam Darnold, and then they came out swinging. Now it's like, okay, like these dudes are legit. You can't overlook them. Like you're gonna start getting people's best. There's some stuff on film out there now. We've seen what's going on. Like, is this gonna be maintainable for them?
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure about that. I mean, we did see the Lions, really have no problems against that defense, which had been giving people fits.
Yeah.
And now,
we
I'm gonna
talked
say
about it in earlier shows. where
Darnold hasn't looked
there was
great
some
the past
question
2
marks
weeks.
with the Vikings defense.
Yeah.
Coming into this Lions game, there's question marks everywhere for sure. But I think like certain teams can cover up. Like you can pick apart. You guys aren't wrong. Like you can pick apart every single team like that. But at the same time, like that's not going to happen because we're only in week 7 right now. By the end of the year, you probably think these teams, top teams like that, the cream always rises to the top no
Mhm.
matter what. And a team can go could the Chiefs be this year's Philadelphia Eagles from last year? The Chiefs are undefeated still, I think, right? Or do they have 1 loss? I don't
They're
remember.
undefeated, yeah.
So they're undefeated. Okay, so say they start off 10-1. And then by the end of the year, maybe something happens, they get dinged up again. Because there's a lot of injuries over there. A lot of injuries on both sides of the ball. It's still a long season. Teams are still shaking it out where it's like, the Chiefs organization is still so good that they're going to be able to plug and play somebody to fill that hole that they need because their system is so good, where coaching can just get thrown completely out of the window. The GM, the scouting department is just going to, because that's who really puts together your team, is your scouting department and your general manager. So it's like, all right, these guys are going to be able to get this player from this practice squad, insert him. Like, I think Rashid, was he drafted?
Yeah, he was like a late round, he was like 4th or 5th round pick, though.
Okay.
Like not a super high draft.
Do you think
pick.
4th and 5th rounders like to me
mid round?
Mid round, yeah. I sometimes I just get confused. I always ask people because I'm like, I don't know, I've seen Hall of Famers come out of the 5th round, so I don't think that's a high draft, like a low draft pick or whatever, because Tyreek Hill, beast 5th round draft pick, no big deal.
Mhm.
Aaron Jones,
6 beast when he has a good quarterback throwing to him. Brother, I started him in fantasy football this week.
True story that you're not wrong, Mercury.
I might lose to a guy that forgot to set his lineup because I had Debo Samuel, Tyreek Hill, and the Jets defense.
Oh man,
just stinker after stinker from those 3 guys, bro.
That's a rough weekend.
I'm relying on Mark Andrews and Chase
is a rough
McLaughlin
weekend.
to
that
keep me
leads
alive.
me then. I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you off. We have 10 minutes, boys. Give me your. Did you guys make any power rankings?
So power rankings,
top 10, top 10 teams, top 5 teams.
I think, yeah, I can give you a quick top 10. Just kind of
give me your top 10 teams right now. It's week 8, or going into week 8. Who's your top 10 teams?
Top 10. Well, I think obvious number
or just
one.
Give me your top 5.
obvious number one's the Chiefs. You got to put them at the 1 in the power rankings.
Just on the record.
Yeah, they're really good. I kind of want to wait to see what happens tonight with the Ravens. I honestly might put them at 2 if they can pull out this win. They got a tough one though. If they don't win, I think they're still top 10 for me, but they probably drop. If I had to pick another number 2 team right now, honestly might go with the Lions. 5-1. They just look really good. I mean, decimated
Minnesota.
Yeah, decimated the awful Cowboys before. Just took out some vengeance on them.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
that was bad.
And then, you know what? I mean, 3. I would go. I might go with the Packers. That's tough.
I
though.
don't even have him in my top 5. I don't even have him in top 5.
Honestly, number 3 for me
He's
might
too weak
actually
defensively right now.
might actually be the Steelers. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. They
Yeah.
they looked
I
so
got-
complete with Russell
I
Wilson
got
in there.
KC, Baltimore, Buffalo in my top 3.
Buffalo would
I like that.
Buffalo would probably
Buffalo-
be 5 for me.
Yeah.
I've seen some big vulnerabilities from them that
Totally, yeah.
could
yeah,
be easily
yeah.
exploited by a better team.
Yeah. Josh Allen, dude.
He's
That's
he's
what-
good. And now he's got Amari
That's
Cooper,
like-
which makes me feel really confident.
The
Another
is
guy
a
you could
problem.
think of that
ability.
has like the ability to laser one in, like Jordan Love can,
Oh,
or like
yeah.
has the arm strength to throw it in there.
He's
'Cause,
definitely
dude,
one of those guys. Yeah.
He's also just a guy that has the tangibles, just the size and power there. So Bills, I got to put him up there too. But yeah,
I'd
Chiefs,
say
easy one.
I got KC, Baltimore, Buffalo. Definitely got the Lions, and then dude, this is gonna sound crazy, and I know they kind of have a couple losses already. Jalen Hurts already kind of showing signs of weakness. Philadelphia Eagles are a dangerous freaking football team. I don't care what anybody says. You can talk bad about them. I think they're still one of those like top 5 teams in the NFL.
Really,
that you
that's
have
interesting.
to, brother. When they got AJ Brown cooking,
That's true.
brother. They are
Gotta
just
look out for
There
him.
they're
is a
freaking wagon, dude.
So they did get.
We'll see
better
if this
in the
offensive
offseason.
line can get better. Missing Jason Kelsey has definitely hurt them.
Yeah.
You just see there's like if you watch it's like who are the 2 guys? It's like Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata.
Yeah.
If you watch them on their side of the line versus
The other
Jurgens
opposite side.
and
Jurgens, yeah.
who the other new guy there.
Yeah, he's a
You watch like how those guys block, like just the contrast and how they take their blocking assignments. It's
yeah,
wild.
they're cohesive. By the end of the year,
But
I sort of project. I just project.
all right, that's fair.
I just
All right.
project sort of.
If I had to give you top 5, KC, Detroit, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, and
There
then
you go.
at number 6, I do the Commanders right now.
That's
Commanders
where
top
I
10
put
team.
them too.
They
I got 'em
are-
top 10.
Top
They
10
are
team. I got the
tough.
Commanders over my Packers.
They're
Yeah.
close. They're a close fifth
think
for
they're
me
better
with
fit.
the Bills.
What you know what like you can see a lot of teams they'll lose their starting quarterback, and even though they're playing a bad team, still struggle to beat that bad team, but figure out a way to get it done. The Commanders just dominated the Panthers without Jaden Daniels for most of that game. And
Yeah.
dude, I mean, like they can run the ball so well. I mean, they had 2 passing yards at one point in the game, like in the second quarter, and they were winning 20-0. That's
Yeah.
just stupid.
Yeah.
I
I
mean-
really like Washington there at 6. You could flip flop
Washington.
between 6, 7. Just 'cause-
Tampa
yeah.
might be 7 for me, though. They probably, I think
was
they're
gonna
going to
put
probably
Minnesota-
lose.
I would still put Minnesota slightly ahead of Washington.
That's
and
fair.
Then after Washington, I was going to put my Green Bay Packers. I got them about 8, 9 right now. I mean, I think the signs of life are there. I have
I
them
think
like
the Packers
8,
are
9.
better than
I think they're 8, 9 somewhere around there.
Minnesota, though.
I think so too. The Packers, honestly, like for me, like the power ranking, like how power rankings are made without projecting right now, probably definitely a top 10 team. Most dangerous teams in the NFL, you're going to project to the playoffs because the regular season is just regular. For the teams that make the playoffs consistently, I don't really value the regular season all that much just because I already know I'm already in. When you're playing for something bigger, I don't give a crap about the regular season. We're already going to be in the playoffs. It just depends on what seed we're going to be. And that's kind of for the last my entire life. That's all I've ever known. Like I've never thought the regular season mattered my entire football life because all my uncles, all my dad, all these people, all the Packer fans, Packer Nation, The only season that matters is the postseason. Right when you
real.
walk into the freaking, players' locker room, and if you take a tour, you'll see it. Lombardi. The only season that matters is the postseason. That's it. And like I'm like, okay, like all right, I'm a kid. I've seen go on the tour. I don't know. Most dangerous team in the NFL got to be one of the Green Bay Packers for sure. The power rankings, I only got them like 8, 9, just because their defense to me is still wishy-washy.
Yeah.
Offensive line.
Where do you guys put Seattle?
I got them. I got them rounding out my top 10.
Around like
9-10 right there.
I got them rounding out my top 10.
Yeah.
I got them rounding out my top 10. I still have to respect a little bit what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have done. So between Tampa Bay and Seattle, that 9-10.
That's kind of where they drop in for me too. Yeah.
Going
around
9-10
that spot.
Yeah.
Because you've got to drop, I don't know, put them down at like closer to like the 15, the power rankings.
Dangerous
that's kind of
team. Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Who wants to play
they're
them
too
right?
dangerous to
That's
put
a
them down
dangerous-
lower.
Dude,
they got to be in the top 10 just sort of offense.
Baker has to at very least be in the MVP conversation.
Why
Dude,
not, right?
Yeah,
dude
man.
is statting it
Talk about
every week.
maintaining. You lose Tom Brady, no big deal. We're still making the playoffs.
Baker comes in,
In
hardly miss a
Stetson,
beat.
No big deal.
And
You
the
know?
defense, it's been there have been some shaky moments from it to start the year, but I think when that unit, if they're fully healthy and playing their best ball, that's a tough unit. You've got Antoine Winfield back there, Jamal Dean, Levante David,
Yeah.
Devin White, Joy Trayon Shoyinka,
Antoine Winfield Jr. still a beast back there in Tampa Bay.
Troyan
And
Shoyinka,
very
underrated pass rusher. I forget who his duo, what his name is on the other end, but those guys,
They-
solid young pass rushing
They
duo
got
right there.
They got my guy in the middle, dude.
Vita Vea, absolute
bro.
monster.
It's a freaking ballerina out there in the middle, dude. Just his feet.
Dude, Chris Godwin kind of putting himself in comeback player of the year conversation.
Sneaky.
He was
Sneaky
not
in
really
there.
that
Is he
good
the best
last-
number 2 wide receiver in the league?
I think so. I mean, because with
This
the
year,
way he's
definitely.
playing,
He'd
he
be
would be
team's number 1
he'd
wide
be-
receiver.
easy.
He'd
Go
be-
to the Broncos or the Saints. He's our number one guy. Easy.
Hey, I don't want to hear no Rashid Shaheed, Maheed, slander.
Need for
over here.
Shaheed right
I
there,
got
buddy.
the need for speed for some Shaheed, brother. I love him over there in New Orleans.
Dude, I'm so excited for this Ravens game. It's going to be a dogfight tonight. I think Baltimore does take it.
I got Baltimore
simply
too.
because of their ability to run the ball. They're just that's why I have them at 2 is they figured out that run game. They're going to be able to dominate you time and possession wise. Henry rejuvenated in Baltimore.
Chargers beating Arizona.
I think so, pretty easily. In a defensive battle too. Like Chargers win that game like 23-10 probably.
I like
Probably.
it. Yeah,
Like-
I think I got Baltimore and pick them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if Tampa Bay didn't upset.
I'm
3.5
nervous
point
about
home
that.
underdogs. Chargers, Arizona.
That one's coming down to like a last second field goal though.
Monday
Tampa.
night doubleheader. We'll have
Check
it
them out,
back on
everybody.
Wednesday on the Monday Night Football recap until the final whistle. Great conversation, boys. I love when you can debate teams like that and break down the bigger picture on teams, how we see the game, how the fans see the game. Absolutely love those conversations. Not just like, oh yeah, fantasy's fun. I love sports betting. When you can really talk football like that, absolutely love it. I'm addicted to it. Till the final whistle, MB Radio. We'll see you Wednesday. And good night and good luck, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.